everyone for the patience. OBS disconnected. What? Man. When it rains it pours, right? Hold on. It says I'm streaming. Let me go check. Connection rate successful. Cool. We have how many registrations? 25. I am not playing in this one. I am just hosting. I'm helping people play and practice, and I'm doing commentating and giving people feedback on what I think they do well and what they could work on in their sets. So if you're here, awesome. If you're not, oh, that was louder than I was expecting. If you're not here, that's okay. You can just watch and you can learn from just osmosis, absorbing it and seeing what other people are doing. And also, if you want to join at any time, that's okay. We play 5 rounds. You can hop in or hop out at any time. So we have 20 people registered today. I want to play because you. All right, let's see. All right, we are going. I said we'd start the tournament in 3 minutes, so we're going to give people some time. Let me see. Do I have the stream? Oh, people are here. Hello. Norf says hi. Aiden says hello from YouTube. Trey's dropping the egg emoji. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. We will be starting in just a second. Tournament will go live at 7:40. Cool. All right. OMG, hi Parker. I haven't messaged you in forever. Oh my, OMG, same. Also, Tim Bucket, if you're here, I see you just followed. Appreciated. Greatly appreciated. I'm gonna move this chair a little bit. Alrighty. Also, last time I played, look how close I am to champion. I got to top 400, and then I went on a little bit of a losing streak. I haven't played with a Spathra. I have played with a Spathra more than with King Gambit, because the Spathra is somehow kind of real, especially on the ladder. Let's see. I have played with the Azumarill more than I have played with King Gambit, I will tell you that much. I'm a veteran. Okay, cool. I am a professor of Azumarill. I am a professor of Delphox. I am a professor of Sneasler, Furgraf, and Sinestro. I am bouncing around 2,100. Good stuff. It's hard. The ladder is hard right now. I feel like everyone's on it. Honestly, I feel like I should have just chilled out in the 400s and been like, maybe I'll just flux into top 300. I'm not a professor of anyone yet. I've got more to play next season. I respect it. You'll get there. You'll get there if you want to. I mean, 100 wins is doable. 100 wins, super doable. Yeah, where am I at right now? Oops, wrong button. Ladder feels like a bizarre form of torture. Too far for the CIA. Oh my god. Yeah, kinda. It's like fun, but also stressful. I'm 2,312. I got to 237, I think, and I was like top 400. I was like, I'm gonna make it, and then I went on a losing streak. So, yeah, it is. I just got to Master Ball too fast, and now I've been coasting. I'm only a Floette and Incin Professor. I mean, those are real Pokemon, though. It is 7:40. We have 22 check-ins. It looks like someone checked in last second. I am going to start our tournament up because I have already made you all wait. So, round 1 has begun. I'm going to go post in the Discord so everyone knows. Round 1 is up. Excellent. Oh my god. That's a scary picture. They're posting Aggron photos in the Discord. They're cool though. Alright, people are... Oh my gosh, we had a few people join the Discord. Hello to all the people that joined. I'm sending you all little waves. Thank you, thank you. Let's switch back. Okay. Sneaslers with Faint was getting me recently. There's been a ton of Sylveon on the ladder. Like, they've updated that Sylveon is more common now. Citrus Berry Basque is kind of everywhere. Let's see. Who are we I feel like I need to do a random number generator. Hold on. that's what's going to decide who we jump into. There are 10 matches, so between 1 and 10. It is match number 5. If you are Ortega or John417, we're going to hop in and stream your match so that you can get some feedback. All right, private battles. 05996431. Join John's room. Let's see. Okay, so we're waiting for their opponent to show up. John is checked in. This is not the John we're used to, John V. This is John417. So, let's see. We're waiting on them. We're in their room. Let's see. We're going to go back to the dashboard. Pairings. Let's see. Okay, I see other ones that are up in case this one does not start. So I will use the number generator again to pick another one. I'm going to, while we're waiting to see if this room happens, I am going to switch over to this screen. And the reason I'm switching over to this screen, also you've got a weird angle of me today. Let's see. Switch, no, not switch. We're doing window capture, Chrome, pairings, cool. We're going to look at the metagame. We're going to look at some of these teams while we're waiting. Because, oh. That would, okay. We are going to look at what people are bringing. So let's check AGP VGC is bringing a Basket Legion Aerodactyl team, both dual mega with Charizard and Aerodactyl, Choice Scarf Garchomp, Fairy Feather Sylveon, and Choppleberry Kingambit. Do they have the beam? They do have the beam. The beam is so strong, but also so annoying. Let's see. I'm going to move my window so I can see your beautiful voices while I'm reading through these things. They have 2 minutes, and if we don't hear from them in 2 minutes, we will jump to a different one. Also, Aiden looks like he is also waiting. Aiden is rocking a Espathra Sneasler. So it's Lumina. So it's basically screen setup Eternal Floette. No item Talonflame, so that way you can always have those strong acrobatics. But notably, it's like you're going down to like a priority move. If someone has like a strong Jet Punch or Aqua Jet, you're probably gone unless the Espathra can get screens up in time. I guess Gale Wings also gives you priority above those things, so maybe not. Taunt, Encore, Follow Me, Protect, Mousehold, and Kingambit. So it looks like on Aiden's team, basically everything's on the shoulders of this Eternal Floette, and maybe with Sneasler and Kingambit to do some damage, but like notably, Espathra, Talonflame, and Mousehold are very, very support heavy. So, I mean, if there's a Pokemon to put the weight of the world on the shoulders, it seems to be Eternal Flower Floette, so cool. Alright, Razor's in their game already. Razor has also been rocking the Mega Delphox. They have Heat Wave, Encore, Protect, Psychic. Primarina has, it's Citrus Berry Prim, Scarf Garchomp, which lets you do fast Earthquakes next to your Delphox. They've got White Herb Sneasler, Choppleberry Kingambit, and Focus Sash Aerodactyl. With Taunt. You don't see that too often. Alright, and then Waffles is rocking Eternal Flower Floette, Sash Aerodactyl, Charizard Y, Black Glass Kingambit, and then Sneasler with Unburden, and also another Choice Scarf Garchomp. It seems like every Garchomp we've looked at so far is Choice Scarf. Oh. Okay, cool. Let's see. Also, I'm going to switch over to John's screen. So I'm going to... Oh, I can't spectate yet. Ah, okay. Well, it'll be fine. Okay. if I don't consider the fight a lost cause, whatever. They're gonna start in just a second. We're gonna keep looking through some more of these teams. Snorkel actually won last time. Let's see what Snorkel's rocking this time. They are going all in on the hard Trick Room, it looks like. They have Babiri Berry Hatterene, so you can't KO it in one hit with a Steel type move. They have Fairy Feather Sylveon with Cute Charm. This must be an issue. I don't think that that's intentional. I'm going to message Snorkel and make sure that they know. Let's see. I'm looking out for our boy. Let's see. All right. How do I check in? Hey, Conrad. The way you check in is you go to your dashboard. Let's see. Did you already... Okay, so let me switch over to this. Okay, so if you just click here on your dashboard, you should see tournaments you're in. It's going to look a little different than this. Real Parker Hours. It is Zeking. Welcome. But anyway, yours should have like a check-in or a join option right here. Let's check... I don't see your name here, which means you might not have checked into the tournament, but it's okay. You can still always enter in later. Okay, missed it. Yeah, you missed round 1, but it's okay because you will be able to join in for round 2. Let's see. I'm going to switch back over. First time using Limitless. Yeah, it's always something you got to learn. There's a lot of new players here today, so don't worry, you're not alone. Also, I know that you're an adept player, so I'm sure even with a little bit of a not head start or playing from behind, you'll figure it out. You'll still make it happen. Okay, so we are now joining. This is John versus Ortega, a hard Trick Room team versus John's Sun team. So, and John has Weavile, so a little bit of a twist. Also, Glamoura stocks have been on the rise. I've been seeing a lot of them. I see Conrad on my side as missed round 1. Oh, I did not see that. Let me see. All right. Let's see. Conrad. Oh, yeah, I do see Conrad. Okay, you've checked in now, Conrad. All right, cool. Hi, Maine. Welcome. We're commentating a tournament. So if you want to join in, also let me put that in the chat in case anyone wants to join in the tournament late and get some practice. Let's see, chat. I can put it on Twitch. I can't really put it on YouTube yet. I haven't figured that out. So there we go. If you want to join the tournament and see how things are going. All right, so right now, Ortega has a really strong lead with Kangaskhan Farigiraf because normally how you stop Trick Room is you click Fake Out and you just like beat up the setter. But the thing is, because Farigiraf has Armor Tail, it's always blocking incoming priority moves. And one of those most notably being Fake Out. So because Kangaskhan can pretty freely just click Fake Out here into either one, whichever one's threatening more damage, whether it's Garchomp or Weavile, Trick Room is almost certainly going up this turn. Whoa, dude, Parker. Whoa, double Parker? What's double Parker? Oh, you're watching me from YouTube as well? Okay. I didn't get any pings or notifications. I was feeding the baby and he was being a pain. I'm sorry to hear that, Conrad. What you can do is in the Discord, I have a flare for round 1. Like, hold on. Let's see. I have a tournament updates thing. So if you go to the Flares Discord and click the boxing glove emoji, I will give you live updates as for when rounds go live. Okay, so we just saw that Fake Out did big damage into Weavile, taking about half of its health away. So now Ortega is in a position where they can kind of just press the gas. They can do big damage with Kangaskhan or Farigiraf, and they also, like Garchomp and Weavile are pretty heavily threatened here. So the question on my mind is, does John want to preserve any of these Pokemon for later in the game? Notably, Kangaskhan's probably going to just pick one of these Pokemon off right here. Let's see what John does, because Double Protects could be really strong here. It looks like Double Edge is just going to be enough to remove Garchomp. Rough Skin's gonna do chip. Garchomp eats its Citrus Berry, but here comes Baby. It's not enough. Garchomp survives. Okay, let's see how John responds. Kangaskhan takes a lot in recoil, especially after that Rough Skin. Rock Slide's gonna do a little bit of damage to both Pokemon. Kangaskhan is really, really low though, and Weavile goes for a knockoff into Farigiraf, hits the Colbur Berry. It's not enough to pick up, but both Pokemon are pretty heavily threatened, and more notably, like, John survives another turn of Trick Room, which is really strong here because if John's Pokemon went down, there's no more switching, there's no more mind games, it's you see what's on the board and you just have to deal. Something that might have been a strong move for John is to remove Farigiraf, because if you do that, then you're re-enabling the ability to click Fake Out on later turns, because Armor Tail won't be active anymore. Okay, so John goes for a Protect on Garchomp. Let's see what Weavile does. Weavile does not go for a Protect. Weavile Hyper Voice from Farigiraf. Is it enough to pick up? It is not. Weavile survives. Double Edge into Weavile calls it. Weavile must not have Protect. And that is the first Pokemon down of this game. Okay. Kangaskhan is really low health, though, so if John has a Pokemon that's pretty slow, they might be able to just remove this Kangaskhan. Farigiraf also is pretty low on health, too. Alright, Glamora enters the field. Notably, Glamora's typing has it threatened pretty heavily by Psychic type. Let me double check and see if this is a Mega Glamora, because Mega Glamora is going to have a little bit more bulk than normal Glamora, and potentially could threaten KOs into either Pokemon here. Also, the turns of Trick Room are slowly whittling down. We see that there are 2 Trick Room turns remaining. Let's see. John's Glamora is a Mega, as you can see, and it has Spiky Shield, Power Gem, Sludge Bomb, and Earth Power. So, notably, John can kind of pick up a Pokemon from either position here. Spiky Shield, if Kangaskhan attacks into it, it will faint here. Also, if Kangaskhan attacks into Garchomp, it will also faint because it has Rough Skin. Or will it faint? No, it lives on just a little bit of health. Alright. Psychic goes out into Glamora. And now it is 2 Pokemon versus 4. But the thing is, there's only one last turn of Trick Room here. Kangaskhan has 8 HP. Let's see what kind of Basculegion this is. This is a Colbur Berry Basculegion. So this Basculegion is pretty safe to just attack this turn. Even from a double up, it's not really threatened. Let's see. And John is up against Ortega. So notably what John has done really well is, like, yeah, he's lost a lot of resources, but it really is looking like John is going to make it to the other side of this Trick Room. Alright, Basculegion uses Protect, a strong move coming from John. Kangaskhan goes for Sucker Punch, and let's see what Glamora does here. Glamora takes a Psychic, does it go down? No, it does not go down, but I wouldn't say it's healthy either. Alright, Power Gem comes out, Kangaskhan is removed. Alright, the dimensions return to normal, and Farigiraf's at such low health that basically either Pokemon can remove it, but the thing is, like, John has lost so many resources to get into this position that it's kind of a question of, does it matter? Can you come back from this? Do you have enough in the tank to win, even though you've made it through the difficult times, but is it enough? Alright, so notably, Glamora has Adaptability Power Gem, which I'd imagine is probably enough to pick up this little Torkoal here. Torkoal just has Charcoal, but it can do big damage back. Got my roll ping, excellent. Farigiraf might, depending on how it's trained, might be able to survive in the sun from this Basculegion too. And Torkoal, like, in the sun is probably not, it's threatened with damage by the Basculegion, but it's probably not threatened by a KO. It's like, okay, Torkoal protects. This turn to me says, hey, I'm putting Trick Room back up. How are you going to deal? Alright, Power Gem into the Torkoal. Wave Crash, also into the Torkoal. And just like that, I imagine that Farigiraf's just going for Psychic, and that's going to remove Glamora, and now it's going to be a 1 versus 3. So notably, something that John might have done a little different on that turn is split his damage. Like, Last Respects is a very strong move, but, like, Farigiraf is just threatening so much to this board state. Like, Psychics can remove Glamora. Trick Room would make it so Torkoal could just be a threat. All right, we're going to see Wave Crash into Torkoal. It's not going to be enough because the Sun's going to make it so that instead of being a super effective hit, that's just going to hit for, well, it still is super effective, but you're losing the benefit of the super effective because it's getting cut by the half damage of the Sun. That I cannot talk. Okay. So, anyway, this Bastia Legion is now threatened basically by either Pokemon. And this game is basically pinned because Torkoal and Farigiraf can attack into that spot. Like, Bastia Legion can remove one or the other. Let's see. And I take it back. It can't remove Farigiraf. It can try to. And Bastia Legion goes out on his own terms. Respect that. Well played. Alright, so this is a 3-game set, so we're going to have to see how does John adapt. Getting into that Trick Room was really, really difficult for John. Basically, he navigated it well, but he lost so many resources by the end, when Trick Room was over, that he basically was just playing on the back foot already. Alright, so they leave the room. They're going to re-enter the room. And then we will see what happens next. Alright, John is new, so I gotta make sure to message them and make sure they know what's going on. Okay, cool, excellent. Let me see. Alright. Let's talk about what they could do a little differently. Okay, so notably, Farigiraf plus Kangaskhan is a really, really strong lead for John's team, or for Ortega's team. It almost always ensures that Trick Room is going to go up, but there are a few things that John can do to kind of leverage his position a little bit better. Like if he leads Glamora, Glamora has the ability, let me make sure that his has this. Yes, Glamora has the ability to not Mega, and then if you touch Glamora, it will activate its ability Toxic Debris, which will make it so that Toxic Spikes are laid on the other side of the field, which could be good for long-term damage. Like, if Torkoal comes in on the Toxic Spikes, it means its Eruption's going to do less damage overall. So maybe if John opts to have 2 really strong Pokemon as his lead, like, yeah, he can't threaten to not let the Trick Room go up, but he can get a lot of damage earlier. Alright, so I like this adaptation. Glamora comes in, and let's see. Basically, Kangaskhan is threatening a Fake Out into either Pokemon. If both Pokemon doubled into Farigiraf, it would remove Farigiraf. That is something to note. If we remove Farigiraf, that's going to help John in the long term. The question is, does this Kangaskhan have a fighting move? It does have Low Kick. If it uses Parental Bond with Low Kick, it might be enough to remove Weavile from the game entirely because it will go through the Sash. They are 2 times 4 effective moves. Okay. So Glamora Megas says, you know what, I just want to start doing damage right away. And while I think you're strong, I don't think that you're going to have the ability to remove my Glamora very easily. And if you don't Fake Out my Glamora, then I'm just going to do a massive amount of damage into one of your Pokemon. The biggest thing that's really difficult for John is it doesn't look like John has any Pokemon that, like, speed Sandwich, okay? So John used Fake Out into Armor Tail. The thing to note, I guess it really wouldn't have mattered anyway, unless they switched out. The thing to note about Fake Out is that it will not work into Armor Tail because it is a priority move. Alright. Trick Room goes up. Also, something that might have been worth considering is because Glamora also has Sludge Bomb, which does similar damage, you might have wanted to go for Sludge Bomb there, because Sludge Bomb could potentially get a poison effect. And while you're trying to stall through these turns of Trick Room, if you get a poison, it's more likely to remove Farigiraf, because you won't have to actively do anything, since Farigiraf doesn't have any ways to heal. Alright, Garchomp comes in. Glamora goes for a Spiky Shield. If Kangaskhan targeted there, it is going to take recoil damage. Psychic goes in to Glamora, but because it's a special attack, it does not trigger the Spiky Shield. Alright, Low Kick does a non-insignificant amount of damage. Triggers Rough Skin twice, though. Alright, and notably, Garchomp he's done a lot of damage to Kangaskhan by just existing. But the thing is, how do we leverage this position into a better position? So, Kangaskhan and Farigiraf are both looking pretty low. Every time Kangaskhan attacks into Garchomp, it's taking recoil. Farigiraf can do a big psychic attack into Glimmora. But the thing, too, is, like, you can go for Protects right now, but you also kind of want to leverage, like, oh, okay, Kangaskhan goes for Sucker Punch. I think the idea here is that Sucker Punch plus Psychic will be enough to remove Glimmora from the game. They go for the double up. Is it enough? It's not. Glimmora hangs on. All right, let's see what happens next. Garchomp goes for a Rock Slide for decent damage into both. Is it possible to get my next round match streamed? Yeah, possibly. All right, Earth Power, and just like that, we are seeing the next Pokemon, and Trick Room turns are going down. Farigiraf has been removed, which means if Weavile comes back onto the field, it can click Fake Out safely. All right. Let's see. I'm new to VGC, so I need a lot of advice on how it works. Of course. Right now I've been using a randomizer, Tim, so I will let you know if you are the person selected. There are only 10 games. Sorry, there are only 10 games, so there's a 1 in 10 chance that we start with you. And if I finish with anyone else first, I will jump to you. Okay, Garchomp protects, Glimmora protects. Let's see if this ends up mattering. Torkoal uses Eruption, that makes sense. It would probably remove both Pokemon because Eruption would remove Glimmora, and then Kangaskhan would be free to Double Edge into Garchomp. Yep. Alright, how many turns of Trick Room are left? We have 1 turn of Trick Room. So this is kind of John's big sacrificial turn. He's got to make a big move. If he has Basculegion in the back, it could be a really safe swap-in. Also notably, Glimmora, kind of not long for this world. If Glimmora goes down, that might be okay because, like, Kangaskhan we've seen has Sucker Punch. So the only way to keep Glimmora in this game... Oop, okay, here comes the big Eruption. The only way to keep Glimmora in this game is to remove Kangaskhan's Sucker Punch as an option. Alright, Garchomp has a Citrus Berry. I don't know that you're this guy, though, Garchomp. Let's see, Double Edge. He goes down. The Rough Skin activates. Then there's Recoil. Okay. And the Twisted Dimensions return to normal. So we know that one of the Pokemon that remains is Weavile. Its Sash is broken, so it's going to be really difficult for John to come back from here, because this Torkoal is a really, really defensive Pokemon. And the final Pokemon is Basculegion again. Alright, so notably, Fake Out is on the board, but is Fake Out enough to reclaim this game? We saw last time that Wave Crash in the Sun is not enough to pick up Torkoal. You can Fake Out Torkoal, though. If you think that your Basculegion's faster than Kangaskhan, you could Fake Out Torkoal, and then you could just deal with whatever's in the back. Because Kangaskhan's pretty low on health, so I imagine that you could remove that with Wave Crash. Alright, Torkoal protects. Let's see what happened. Alright, Weavile goes for Fake Out into Kangaskhan. We do get to see who's faster. Okay, they go for Aqua Jet. Aqua Jet's a really interesting play here because you're out of Trick Room. You don't really need to use low base powered priority moves here. In fact, I guess the idea was like, hey, if they go for Sucker Punch, I'm going to dodge it. But I don't know that that's the call. I think that right now, the best play for John to make is probably to either double into this Torkoal and say, you know what, I'm okay. I think Basculegion has enough gas in the tank to be my final Pokemon. Basculegion protects, an interesting play. Kangaskhan goes for Sucker Punch. Basculegion's notably not going to take it. Low Kick removes the Kangaskhan, but I'm imagining that this Torkoal's probably firing back at Weavile and saying, you know what? We'll see ya. Alright, Weather Ball, bye-bye Weavile. Okay. So notably, where we're at now is this Basculegion has to take on 2 Pokemon at the same time. Sun is still up. I guess a Pokemon that you'd want to see here is Hatterene, because Last Respects will remove Hatterene. That's the last Pokemon I think you wanted to see. Weavile! Woo! Yeah. Okay. Alright, so notably, how do we get through this? We do have Colbur Berry, so Basculegion will be able to take a singular attack, but realistically, with the Sun still active, I don't think he has enough gas in the tank. Wave Crash is going to give you significant chip back. The Gambit is here. Maybe with a crit. But now watch this. We're going to see the double up happen. I think realistically, Last Respects probably would have been better so you didn't take recoil damage because it's a higher base power move. Yes, it is super effective to use Wave Crash, but the Sun's going to cut the damage anyway. And here comes Weather Ball, and I believe that'll be enough to finish this game off. Well played by both players. All right, let's see. Is there anyone still playing? We can jump to their games. We had Tim Bucket was saying that they wanted assistance. Tim, what is your name on here? Oh, okay. You just fought Alt Kyle. Alt Kyle is a very strong showdown player or limitless player. They've played a lot of games, so I see. All right, we're gonna jump in on Not Hunter's game. Oh, I lost my round one. I will also not try to play or watch people we've already seen before. I'll try and keep the rotation going. So even if you've lost games, like there's a high chance that we'll be able to see you. We're gonna try and hit everybody. Oh, date and time switched. Yeah, Alt Kyle is very strong. All right, the day switch. Did the season switch? I need to see. Okay, no, we're good. I'm still 830. There's a chance tomorrow we make it to champion. We'll see. All right, let's go battle. All right, private battles. Enter 6449 1867. How did I win last night? I do not know. Sometimes you just gotta dig deep and you find the way. The more you play a team, even your bad matchups, you'll start to find out what your outs are. Okay, so let's check in. It looks like their last game just ended at 8:01, so this one's probably going to be in the middle towards the end. I will try and do my best to give you an update as to how things are going. All right, so we see that Not Hunter's already lost their Sneasler and Aerodactyl's really low. And Anthony's lost their Garchomp. So we're seeing a 3v3 situation. But the thing is, we also know Anthony has divulged the information that they have Basculegion in the back. Aerodactyl is heavily threatened by this King Gambit. It could get Sucker Punched and removed, and Aegislash does not have a very positive matchup into Charizard when it comes to, like, defensive typings. So, what can happen this turn is I imagine that Aerodactyl could probably click Tailwind, and then Poltergeist into Charizard potentially could remove it. What we're going to see instead is we're going to see Floette enter the battlefield. Let's see how this changes the game. Charizard Mega Evolves. Floette does have a really strong special defense stat, but unfortunately Floette has not Mega Evolved yet, so it's not going to take this attack super well. Alright, Sunlight turns harsh. King Gambit does go for Sucker Punch, and Aerodactyl does attack. It's not gonna be nice for Floette here. Alright. Weather Ball comes out. It's gonna take a lot of damage here. Yeah, it lives on 7, but realistically, I think you're in Sucker Punch range here, so everything is on the back of this Aegislash. Alright, let's see. Did the Tailwind get set up? There is no Tailwind, so realistically, I think that this game is already kind of pinned. Anthony really can just click Sucker Punch into Floette, plus Weather Ball into Aegislash, and there's not a lot they can do. There's no more... When you start to lose your Pokemon, you start to lose the options you have available to you. So because Anthony only has 2 Pokemon, they're kind of in a really tough spot here. And Sunlight has 4 more turns. So watch this. Let's see what they do. Alright, Floette Mega Evolves. It should take special attacks better, but the thing is, I don't think you're going to take a special attack here, Floette. I think that Sucker Punch is just going to come out, and that's going to be the end of Floette. Yes, it lived for 5,000 years. Yes, it is eternal, but it has been removed from this battle. And then Weather Ball into Aegislash. Let's see. No Focus Sash. It is gone. So, good game. Well played by both. Honestly, like, that is a tough type matchup. It's hard to leverage your position there. If Not Hunter had Tailwind, do they? They do have Tailwind. It was kind of a mind game where it was like, hey, maybe I will click Tailwind, maybe I won't. And we also don't even know how the Aegislash is raised or trained. So there is the potential that even if it did click Tailwind, it wouldn't have been enough to change the game. All right, we're going to hop in. Oh, Lazy Warlock's game did just end. It looks like everybody's games just ended, so we're going to start our next round of our tournament. So let me do that right now. Dashboard, we're going to go back. End the round, start the next round. All right. We are going to update the good people. Round 2 is up. And I'm going to use my random number generator to pick a round, and the round is supposed to be number 3. Let's see. Number 3 will be Aiden24B versus Waffles 27. So we're going to check in on them. And then Tim Bucket, I will prioritize yours if your match is going on after theirs finishes. Alright, cool. Alright, the room code is getting put in, and we are going to watch them. You know what might be a good idea? Oh, you're okay. You're okay. Going forward, what I might do is I might just make a room, and if you join my room, then I will be more likely to watch you. That actually seems like a better idea. So after this one, I'll make my own room. Alright, we're going to spectate Aiden versus HK. Oh, okay. There we go. Alright. Alright, so Aiden, we already talked about his team at the beginning of the stream. If you're joining him now, he is basically putting all his cards in the Floette basket. He also has King Gambit and Sneasler, but the other 3 Pokemon are really built to enable this Floette to do big damage. Something to note, though, about HK's team is that they have Mega Charizard. What? You guys okay? You're good. But anyway, Mega Charizard matches up really well into Floette and King Gambit, so unless this Floette gets enabled, it's going to have a really hard time. Also, let's check if HK's King Gambit has Iron Head. It does. Oh, Espathra is here. One thing to note, though, which is nice, is even though Charizard matches up nicely into Floette, if it takes a Lumina Crash, it's gonna basically... Haley's like, I want your snack. No. Sorry, let me finish doing. If it takes a Lumina Crash, its special defense stat is going to get cut down, which means that it's going to basically hit with the fairy moves like it is hitting for neutral. OMG the dog. You want to say hi? Hey, Haley. This is my girlfriend's dog. I'm dead. She's basically a Pokemon. She's well trained. So cute. Yeah, she is super cute. Alright. So something to note here is that Espathra really can't hit King Gambit. Talonflame can, but Talonflame's not known for having a super strong attack stat. So Espathra can get screens up. I can't breathe. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm gonna tell my girlfriend that you are in love with their dog. This is her baby, so she's really gonna appreciate that. Anyway, Espathra is threatening threatening to lower the special defense stat of Aerodactyl, but the thing is, Aerodactyl is not going to go down in one hit. Yes, Aiden can get Tailwind up, but he opts to play more defensively this turn. We might see a double protect this turn. Nope, we're going to see a Rock Slide. Rock Slide is going to threaten a KO into Aerodactyl. The Spathra dodges it. I need a dog in my life, but my husband doesn't want it. I'm sorry, Picnic. Alright, Reflect's going to make it so that it probably is going to take this Kowtow. Oh, they double into Talonflame. Notably, when you see people double into a Pokemon like Talonflame, you can kind of identify that that there might be something in the back that they don't want to deal with that. Like, that to me says, like, hey, we don't want you to get speed control up, so we're going to remove your Talonflame, and also on top of that, we think maybe they have a Sneasler in the back. That might be an identification to me that is the case. Because, like, why double the Talonflame? Talonflame's not known for hitting super hard, so you can kind of just leave it alone if your team does well into it. Like, Charizard, not going to care too much about Talonflame. Aiden, a strong player, identifies this, says, you know what, I'm going to remove my Talonflame and save it for later, because you've clearly shown me that you don't love it. Alright. Espathra's going to get a Lumina Crash off. We did not see a Tailwind come out, so... Okay, Rock Slide does come out. So, Aerodactyl's going to be the fastest Pokemon outside of Espathra. Let's see what item this Espathra is. Espathra is Focus Sash, but notably, since Aiden has Sneasler here, he can now fake out this Kingambit and go for another Lumina Crash. Also, we saw Reflect is up, so there's a chance that it could survive this Kingambit's attack. Oh, it is Black Glass's Kingambit, so it isn't super likely. But it could happen. Also, if you ignore the Sneasler, a big close combat's going to be coming for you. And you can almost guarantee... No, you can't. My cheese. No. Hold on. Wait. Cheese over here. You can get the cheese. Go get it. That Baton Pass is going to hit hard. Yeah, it will. Alright, Fake Out into the Charizard, and then Lumina Crash is going to remove Falco. That ain't Falco. Alright. Speed Boost again. Notably, HK side never got Tailwind up, so a lot of these Pokemon at Aiden's side, which are naturally faster, are going to just have the advantage. Levi returns. Levi's kind of in a situation where, does Espathra have Baton Pass? It does not. I was going to say, if it had Baton Pass, it would have to kind of choose between using a Dark move or using a Steel move, but because it doesn't have Baton Pass, it's kind of safe to just say, you know what, I don't care. Waffles Kingambit is Black Glasses, which means it will go down to a close combat. But because it also has Protect, Sneasler's kind of sitting here, being like, am I going to survive whatever Charizard tosses at me? I kind of thought it had close combat as well. Alright, Sucker Punch into the Sneasler, saying, you know what, I'm going to go for a big Heat Wave, and you're just going to have to deal. Espathra puts the light screen up. Let's see what happens next. Close combat. And that's going to remove Levi. HK is running out of options here. While Floette might not be super fantastic into Charizard, when you start losing all of your options, it gets a lot harder to win. Alright, Light Screen is up. Let's see. Oh, Butterscotch is going to miss a Heat Wave onto Espathra. This Pokemon is honestly just causing so much of a headache for HK. Aiden Sneasler goes down, and now it is going to be a 3 versus 2. Espathra's speed goes up yet again. No Kingambit to remove it easily. I think it's probably safe to assume that the final Pokemon is probably Sneasler based on how they targeted into Talonflame last time. Here comes Mikasa. Nope, never mind. It is a Floette of his own. Both Floettes have entered the battlefield. Speed tiers are going to matter in a big way here. Because Charizard is potentially faster than Floette, and Floette is speed tied with Floette potentially, which means it might be a coin flip as to whose goes first. We did see Light Screen is up, and Floette is known for being a very, very specially defensive Pokemon. And since Light Screen is up, Floette might not even be too worried. It might be able to just say, you know what, I'm throwing out attacks. I don't really care. Or does it have Calm Mind? Let's see. Aiden's does have Calm Mind, so in the face of two special attackers, it might feel fine to just set up. Alright, Lumina Crash comes out. What happens next? Light of Ruin! Here comes the big flower, it blasts back! And even without Light Screen, it's not enough. Or even with Light Screen, it's not enough. Mikasa takes a lot of damage. Dazzling Gleam is going to remove Floette. And we're going to see that it's going to be a 2 versus 1. I don't need a Mega Stone, I got a big flower cannon, is what Mikasa said. Reflect wears off. But notably, Reflect is not Light Screen, so... Basically, we're in a situation here where Aiden's Pokemon does not have a type advantage into Charizard, but it does have the ability to set up, and it does have Light Screen up as well. So, like, Talonflame could pretty safely here just click Tailwind, and Floette could get a Calm Mind up. Acrobatics, Aiden opts to just do damage, and boy howdy does he. That does a lot. Heat Wave connects on both. It's not going to be enough to remove either of them. Aiden just says, you know what, Dazzling Gleam, let's just finish this, and it's enough, and the game is over. Game 1 is going to go to Aiden. Well played by both players. I saw the vision for both of them. This time I'm going to talk a little bit more about what Waffles could do, which is also known as HK. What HK could do a little bit differently. So one thing we did notice is that since they did not get Tailwind up, and they also did not remove that Espathra early, it was kind of in a position where Espathra could just be a pain the whole time. Alright. Let's see if they do anything different. The Sneasler is there. It is an option. Waffles' Sneasler, or HK Sneasler is White Herb, so it is pretty threatened by Talonflame. Like, Acrobatics will do a lot. And since Incineroar has kind of gone into hibernation or has taken a cat nap, it is not around to mitigate damage. Talonflame's pretty low attack stat kind of can go unchecked now. Okay. I already gave you some cheese. Also, I think Charizard was a great bring here. Maybe instead of having both your Megas in the same battle, maybe HK could potentially have Sneasler instead, would offer them Fake Out, would potentially make it so that they can't go unchecked. I guess I get not bringing Sneasler here, especially with a Espathra, because Lumina Crash will remove that Sneasler. It's a tricky matchup. Potentially Garchomp. Usually when a Pokemon is a setup Pokemon, you can bet on them investing into bulk. So if your Garchomp is max speed Garchomp, you might be safe to just launch out big attacks. Alright, let's see how they play this differently. Alright, so we see a Charizard Aerodactyl lead versus Espathra and Sneasler. Okay, so right now, this Sneasler is offering Fake Out for free, so it can get free damage into either one of these Pokemon. It's also going to make it so Espathra will be pretty fast next turn. What they could do is, Aiden could pretty freely just go for Fake Out, but if he does that, he might have to eat a big Heat Wave from Charizard. So, let's see. I honestly think that you're kind of free to just either double Protect here, on HK side, or just double attack. I don't think you can protect with one, but if you do that, you're putting yourself in a really scary position. Also, notably, if you do go for Tailwind, there will be one turn where you outspeed Espathra, which will make it have to either click Protect. All right, so we do see Fake Out come out. Probably Light Screen for Maiden. Lumina Crash says, I don't want to deal with Charizard. It looks like the next one might pick up. Alright, Heat Wave comes out. Massive damage into both. Alright. So now, like, if you click Tailwind on Aerodactyl plus Heat Wave, you might just be able to get a board wipe. Aerodactyl is faster than Sneasler. It is not faster than a Spathra. So the question is do you think that Aerodactyl will survive this? It survives it pretty handedly. Alright. Does it click Tailwind? It does click Tailwind. And now the board position is looking really favored to HK, provided it lands this attack. It lands into both. But the question too becomes, if they have Talonflame in the back, they can just get a Tailwind up or Acrobatics into either Pokemon for free. So while HK does have the favorable board position, it might not be enough to win this game. Alright, Talonflame does come out. Woo, Monday night tourney watching, woo! I don't know, I kind of think that Falco is in a pretty nice spot here. I think Falco will remove Talonflame with a Rock Slide, and I don't think Acrobatics is going to pick up into it. Which means that you're kind of free to just do Rock Slide plus Weather Ball or Heat Wave into Floette. Alright, Floette Megas. We can see that this match has shifted in a big way because instead of playing a little slower, HK said, you know what, let's pump this damage out. Let's remove Aiden's support options. Alright, Tailwind comes out. Let's see how these Pokemon are invested. Rock Slide comes out. Bye-bye Talonflame, and now it is a 1 versus 4. Heat Wave comes out, it does connect. Floette does survive. Floette will be able to launch an attack back, but will it be able to remove either Pokemon? It will remove Falco, but now Butterscotch is still there, and we did see that it is faster, so if Butterscotch has an attack that is guaranteed to hit, like Weather Ball, it's going to make it so that Aiden has to protect for multiple turns. And there's King Gambit. We've seen earlier when Floettes are low, they're in range of being Sucker Punched. Basically, Aiden is pretty much pinned here. Maybe they see an option that I don't see, but it's looking pretty difficult. This dog wants my cheese so bad. Alright, Sucker Punch comes out. I guess Aiden's just scouting to see how much it does. And that is going to take us to a Game 3 situation. And it's important to note that Aiden won Game 1. Like, Aiden played really well. I feel like he also played well in Game 2. Yeah, Butterscotch is a cute nickname. But, burnt flower rip. He played really well, but this game is not forgiving. Like, you can be good at the game, you could be not so good at the game. But the thing is like, no matter what your skill level is everybody gets, everyone has blowouts. Like, everyone gets, like, blown up. Like, that's not a skill thing. That's not like, oh, I'm bad at the game. That happens to everybody. Good players are able to just say, you know what? It happened. Let's adapt and let's overcome. Let's see how Aiden adapts to this. Because last game, Aiden was pretty much in the driver's seat the whole time. And then HK fired back. And now here is where Team Select is basically the battle. Where both players have to look at each other's teams and say, this worked really well for me last time. This didn't work well for me last time. HK's in a position where he's like, I know what worked this time. Do I just run it again? And Aiden's in a position where he's like, wow, I really lost to that. How do I do this? All right. The tour did start late. It started at 7:40. I was logged in an hour ago, but the tour hadn't started, so I thought the schedule was 8:30 and I was an hour early. Guess the tour started late. Sorry, yeah, I posted in the Discord. Yeah, we are going to Game 3. Apex, I posted in the Discord that it was going to be a little bit late because I had run into an issue on my end, so I apologize for the delay. You're more than welcome to join in and get practice still, though. I try not to run late, but sometimes life stuff happens, so I appreciate you guys for being patient, and I super appreciate you for coming by and watching, too. Also, Apex, I like how you've switched over to the YouTube side. You've been my biggest Twitch supporter, and now you're my biggest one of Pokemeg's been here since day one. But you've been a big YouTube supporter now too. I appreciate it. Oh, sorry, Haley, didn't mean to get your hair. All right, so what we see is HK here decides, you know what, this worked really well for me. I'm gonna run it back. The other thing to note is that Espathra can make different moves. Like, even though the Pokemon are the same, like a light screen might change this game up in a big way. Or a fake out into a different Pokemon. So even though the board is essentially the same, how the players play it might change things quite drastically. Alright, Charizard Mega Evolves. I think my gut is saying that Aiden realized that last game Charizard did too much damage and he's not going to let it happen again. So, like, double Lumina Crash into Aerodactyl could be pretty strong. These dragons need to sync up their flaps. I agree. Alright, fake out into Aerodactyl. Aiden's saying, you know what? I think that this is the problem, Pokemon. We're going to fake you out. I guess the idea here is like, hey, if I do this, you're never going to get your Tailwind up. And I'm here for it. They're coming from my spot as YouTube, #1 YouTube fan. I'll play my other matches for sure. Excellent. All right, big Heat Wave does not connect on a spot throw. 4 times Prime from Pig Hog, greatly appreciated. You get your little sub animation down there. Woo, that way, like that way. All right, so a spot throw dodging that is actually huge because a spot throw has a pretty sizable defense stat. It's not susceptible to going down. Also, Aiden has a focus sash on this, so it needs to be hit twice. Conrad subscribed too. Oh my gosh, all the subscribes are coming in at the same time. Greatly appreciated. Sneasler is going to outspeed Charizard, which makes it so that even though these Pokemon are the same, Sneasler is now in a position where it gets to get off another attack that it didn't get to last turn. And we'll have to see how big this is, because a Dire Claw can end up in a status condition, and a status condition can instantly change this game in a big way. Aerodactyl switches out, says, you know what, I'm going to save you for later. Garchomp comes in. Lumina Crash comes in. Is this a contact move? It is a special attack, but sometimes special attacks are contacts. Crash makes me think it might be. No, it is not. Okay, so Garchomp takes hefty damage. Charizard goes to sleep. Oh my gosh. Waffles is going to have to play in a crazy way in order to come out of this one. This is Scarf Garchomp, so it does outspeed the Sneasler. But unfortunately, this Espathra's been on the field for a few turns, so it's going to outspeed the Garchomp. And the Garchomp's already taken a Lumina Crash, which means its special defense is dropped. So basically, unless King Gambit's in the back, which I don't think it is because you would have switched it in on that turn, it's looking very Aiden favored right now. Garchomp goes down. Sleepy Charizard's going to have to take an attack. Close combat is going to be enough to pick up. And honestly, I think that might just be it, because Aiden, look at how this set went. Aiden won game 1 playing pretty slow, right? Game 2, he got exploded on. And then game 3, Aiden brought it back and said, you know what? I'm just going to pop off the same way. Yeah, Espathra really did pop off this set. I love that Gaga Bird gets speed boost and high heals. Yeah, Gaga Bird seems to be really real, especially in a format where Sneasler's like the #1 Pokemon. Also, I like that the Pokemon Company has added some subtle animations to some of these Pokemon. Like, Espathra was looking around. I don't know if other people saw that. Yeah, Espathra was a very cool pick. All right, we're going to see. That was a game 3. A lot of our games have concluded, but Tim Bucket is still going, so we're going to jump in. Let's see. Seven, 9, 6, 2, 7, 6, 6, 8. All right, we're going to join the Buckets room. Let's see. All right, they are in game 3. Heatwave Miss and Dire Claw Sleep was brutal. It was brutal. Honestly, I don't think they could have played much better. It just kind of was very difficult. All right. All right, cool. Let's see what's going on. It looks like... okay, so we've seen a few Pokemon on both sides of the board. Incineroar, Melodic on this side, and it looks like Floette and Sinestcha, as well as Aerodactyl on Tim Bucket's side. Floette does have a good special defense stat. It is able to take that pretty well, but it does have a burn now, and that burn is going to add up over time. Flare Blitz into Sinestcha, it's not going to love that, and it goes down, but that means that Incineroar is going to take a lot of recoil for its trouble as well. We see Umar has a Sneasler, and basically I think the idea that Tim Bucket has here, I keep saying Tim Bucket, it's like a funny name to say. Anyway, I think that the idea that they have here is like, hey, if I can leverage this Aerodactyl, if I can save it, I can use it to remove the Sneasler when it comes into play. Alright. Aerodactyl's at really low health. Floette is also, it's at half now thanks to the Scald. It's not going to take an attack from Sneasler. I think the idea, too, is like, this turn's kind of tricky because basically Tim's got two choices. If they go for Dazzling Gleam, it probably picks up Incineroar, and it's going to do a good chunk to Melodic, but it probably won't pick up. But if Melodic goes for Protect, could change the game a little bit, because then it's going to have more health later on. Oh wait, Umar has the same team I was running on ladder, if that's Zardex. They might. The other thing that can happen here is if you think Melodic's going to go for a Protect, you can go for Tailwind and advance your board position. Alright. What Mega Evolves? We don't know who the fourth Pokemon is on either side. It is radiating a Fairy Aura. Rock Slide. Incineroar dodges. Melodic takes it. That should bring it down low enough where Dazzling Gleam should pick up. It doesn't. I was going to compliment the team and then I realized it's because I use it. That's so funny. Alright, Melodic flinches though. Okay. Honestly, that flinch might be better than if it had actually gone down. Because sometimes leaving a Pokemon alive or not fainted on your opponent's side of the field can be more beneficial to you than actually knocking them out. Because Melodic is a slow Pokemon, like look at this board state. It's like if I just protect, and then Tailwind Dazzling Gleam, I'm getting a double knockout. The only thing that's making it so that you can't just Tailwind Dazzling Gleam this turn is because Sneasler's offering Fake Out pressure. If this is, let's look at Umar's team. If this is White Herb Sneasler. I don't know if the White Herb's been used or not, but a crazy play they could make if it hasn't been used is to, I was going to say close combat themselves, but I think Incineroar is going to proc that for us. Let's see, competitive goes off, White Herb goes off, Tim Bucket might have released the demon. Sneasler goes for a super fake out into Incineroar. Sorry if this is weird, but was I streamed? No, it's not, and I'll message you in the thing if you were streamed. Lazy. Alright, Rock Slide comes out, but it looks like it misses Sneasler. I've just been doing random. Okay, so Charizard comes out. Okay. Tim is in a really commanding position here because his Aerodactyl is the fastest Pokemon. The opponent did forfeit, but the thing is that game was not over because the move that Tim has to use to win that game is Rock Slide, and Rock Slide does miss. So never give out. Always look for your outs. We play like rats in VGC. You're always looking for your out. You're always looking for that next bite of cheese. You're always looking for how are you going to get out of this one. Okay, and that is the end of that round. We are going to go... Oh, Trey Bebe is currently in their set. Let's see. It looks like their set has gone longer. Sometimes, something to note is that if you are in a tournament, or if you are playing in a tournament, and you are playing a team that is less offensive, it can be more difficult because you are more likely to have tournament fatigue. Because if you're playing in a tournament with a team that's like very defensive, your games go longer, which means you're playing more. So a lot of these players have already finished, and as far as I know, this is only game 2 for Trey's team. Let's see, spectate. I would have played it out for sure, get some luck. Yeah, sometimes you got burned earlier. The luck's bound to swing back your way. Oh, it looks like their game just ended. Okay. And with that, we're going to go to set number 3. Oh, wait, are we? Is anyone... Okay, now it says that they're done. Excellent. Okay. And we're going to set number 3. Pairing the next round. Cool. And I'm going to message people on the Discord so they know that their round is up. Round 3 is up. Cool. Alright. And we're going to... I was thinking about how exhausted I would be playing Trailer's LA team. Games were crazy long and chess-like. Yeah, sometimes it do be like that. Sometimes it is crazy. Alright, so we are up... we're going to watch set number 5. Tim Bucket, we did watch your last set. You did win. Congratulations. We are going to watch... It is Trey Bebe versus Web Impulse. Yeah, you played it well. Like, obviously, we only were able to catch the last game, but you played very well. Well, 6 flinches in my game 2, double flinch first turn, flinch the turn I rock slide and volt switch the Charizard. Yikes. What happened, Trey? How'd you just get luckier, dude? Easy, right? I'm just messing. Sorry. It's you kind of have to kind of have to joke about it when it's that terrible, right? Oh, you know what I said I would do? Is I said I would make a room and people could join if they wanted to be watched. So let's do this. The code for this room is... Can I share it? I'm going to share it in the chat. It is 709999848. If you want to be watched after this game concludes, join in this room. I told other people they could join if they wanted to. I'm going to also put it in the Discord. Let's see. Alright. Okay, so let's talk about their teams. Web Impulse, or Webby, is running a Mega Greninja team, mad respect, with Focus Sash, Destiny Bond Gengar, Choice Scarf Vanillux, Lumberry Garchomp, a Melodic, and an Incineroar. So generally, the main gimmick that we've seen with Pokemon like Mega Greninja is when they're paired with Vanillux, they're kind of like a secondary Blizzard spammer. So the idea is, like, if they lead Greninja Vanillux, that mode is like, we are fishing for freezes, we're fishing for big damage. Notably, it doesn't do super well into teams like Trey Bebe's, so they're going to have to, like, leverage their Pokemon in unique ways in order to get that position up. So Trey identifies this, and they bring Tyranitar up first, because the slower weather setter is the one that sets the weather. So Tyranitar is the slowest weather setter out of Vanillux and Tyranitar, so Trey says, you know what? I just want control of my weather. But we see that Webby identifies this and says, you know what, they're probably going to bring Tyranitar, so I'm just going to bring my Garchomp, which is my check to your thing. Yeah, we love wild teams here. His Chomp wanted it. That's funny. Alright, so, let's see. Okay, they switch Rotom in, and to me that says, like, hey, I identify that you can click Earthquake, and my option here is, like, I'm just going to bring in my Pokemon that's immune to it. Aggron Megas. Let's see where Incineroar fakes out. Or, oh, okay, Protect is a really strong play here. All right, we see Fake Out into Rotom, which means that Aggron could have potentially gone for what's it called? Gone for an Iron Defense. All right, Rock Slide comes out, does some good damage to Rotom, not enough. All right, also. Rotom is Rindo Berry, which I believe is Grass Resist. So the fastest Pokemon here is going to be Garchomp or Chiriro. Then it's going to probably go Garchomp, Rotom, or Incineroar based on how they're invested. And then finally Mega Aggron. Alright, here comes Ben and Jerry, the ice cream. They are Choice Scarf, which means they're going to be really fast. Garchomp goes for another Rock Slide. I think the idea here is like, hey, I'm going to flinch you so you're never going to get an Iron Defense up. Volt Switch is out. And because they used Volt Switch after Vanillux came in, Trey can identify, like, hey, I think the best Pokemon to bring in here is probably Tyranitar, so I win the Weather War again. Or I win the Weather Battle, because the war's not over until Pokemon get knocked out. Alright, Iron Defense comes out. This Aggron's going to get more and more difficult to remove. The Sand is going to do Chip to Ben and Jerry, but every other Pokemon, because they are either Ground, Rock, or Steel, is immune to the Sandstorm Chip. Aggron is now set up. It is going to be a really difficult Pokemon for Webby to remove. The Pokemon that are going to do... I mean, Incineroar and Garchomp both have a way to hit it for super effective damage, so it's not over, but it's going to be hard. Here comes Jiraiya, the Toad Sage. Alright, Tyranitar comes out because... Notice how both players remove their Weather Setter. The idea here is like, hey, if my Weather's in the back, I can always recast it later. Garchomp going for more Rock Slides. The idea here is like, hey, I'm not going to remove your Aggron, but I am going to like potentially flinch it. And if I do that, that's a lot of damage. If I do that, then you're not going to get as much momentum. Rough Skin is going to do a little chip to Aggron. Ice Cream needs to do work. Yeah, it really does. All right, the fastest Pokemon here is Greninja, then Garchomp, and then Rotom. So like right now, Greninja can go for Mega plus Blizzard, but if you do that, then you're just saying, you know what? Like, hey, I'm using a not very effective attack into Aggron, and I'm like praying it flinches. Alternatively, because they're so far behind already, okay, they go for a Protect, which switches them to the normal type. Alternatively, if they have Dark Pulse, which I believe most Greninjas do, let's see. Let's see, do they have Dark Pulse? They do have Dark Pulse. What they could have done on that turn, too, is they could have gone for Rock Slide plus Dark Pulse and hope for a double flinch. Alright, Volt Switch, calls it, says you're not leaving, Rotom, you have to stay on the battlefield. Goes for a Body Press. That Protect was possibly the best play they could have made that turn. Completely avoids all damage and gets a little bit more momentum for Webby's side of the field. But the thing is, like, this Aggron's still just so annoying for Webby. Like, they're like, yeah, I can do some damage, but I'm not getting rid of it like right now. Like, it's just kind of chilling out. All right, Rotom switches out. Who do we see come back in? Ice-T. Ooh, Sinestcha. Sinestcha's a scary Pokemon to come in that position because it's going to heal up Aggron, this wall that's been really hard to break. They go for a Dark Pulse, but they don't Mega. A really interesting choice because it's not going to give them the ability to use Protean later. I guess the idea is like, hey, I'm going to stay a normal type so I don't get Volt Switched. Body Press goes into Greninja, and I think that's going to be a Flattened Frog. All right. The no Mega there is really interesting to me. I think... Okay. Ice-T is at really low health. So there is a chance, I think right now what Webby's going to have to start playing for... I guess we can do Fake Out this turn, that's fine. Webby is going to, at some point, have to start playing for Freezes, though, because they've lost their primary damage dealers outside of, Snowcone, outside of Vanillux, and the thing is like, while Vanillux does good damage, it doesn't do good damage to Pokemon that are Steel and Rock type, which are the types that Trey is rocking today. Aggron protects. Alright, Fake Out into Aggron. Let's see what Garchomp went for. Garchomp went for Dragon Claw. And the reason that Trey did this is because now they can just bring their Sinestcha right back in. I was surprised no Mega on Greninja. I also was surprised. I think it might have been a misclick, potentially, because there was no other Mega on the team, so there's no reason to not hold on to it. Alright, also notably, like, those Pokemon are both weak to Earthquake. Like, on the off chance that this Garchomp hits a double crit Earthquake, that could change this game in a big way. Will they go for it, though, is the next question. Alright, Tyranitar withdraws. We're going to see Sinestcha probably come back. Free healing for Aggron, right? Yep, Aggron's back to full. Alright, Garchomp protects. I don't dislike that play. Flare Blitz into the Aggron. Holy moly, that's a lot of damage. That kitty's been working out. There's the critical hit. Body Press. I think we see our way back into this game, potentially. A critical hit right back at you, Incineroar. Okay. So now, the Weather War is lost. Like, no matter what, it does not matter what happens from here, the Weather War is over. Like, Vanillux comes in, and then guess what? Tyranitar is going to come right back at you. I think it's probably safe to assume... Yeah, that was a huge crit. That was a huge crit. It's probably safe to assume that Aggron probably protects, and Tyranitar probably comes in. It's not guaranteed, but it is a highly likely turn. The thing, though, is, like, the scary thing about this Aggron is, like, outside of crits, as we've seen, that do a lot of damage, and even a super effective crit didn't even remove this Pokemon. Alright, Tyranitar comes back in. Let's see what Ice Cream Cone does. Alright, Aggron does protect. The idea here is like, hey, I'm either going to... Alright, so I'm either going to get my Tyranitar in here safely, or I am going to get healing on my Aggron. Alright, Dragon Claw. Okay. Tyranitar does come in safely. It does not get frozen. It is kind of a scary turn. Let's see. Is this Tyranitar... And is it... it is sashed. So, basically right now, I believe that Webby is playing for a freeze. Outside of a freeze, it's going to be really difficult for them to win this game. Alright. Ice-T comes back in. If Blizzard connects into Ice-T, it will remove Sinestcha, which will make it so Garchomp can attack. It does connect. Garchomp can attack into Aggron with a super effective attack, potentially. But the question is Garchomp going to do it, and is it going to be enough? It gets the critical hit into Ice-T. Does Aggron freeze? I don't think it does. Dragon Claw. That doesn't do it. Alright, let's see. Who do we attack? Body Press. Into Ben and Jerry. Alright. Ben and Jerry goes down. Alright, Garchomp has to take out both Tyranitar and Matcha Business is booming. It certainly is. Alright, basically Earthquake has to remove both of these Pokemon. Either this turn or the following turn. And if it doesn't, it's just GG, game over. I think there is no way that this Aggron goes down outside of a crit here, though. What do you think, Haley? Also, I'm going to turn this up. Alright, Earthquake comes out. Even Tyranitar survives. I'm pretty sure this is looking like Trey's game now. Alright, Knockoff comes out. Rough Skin comes out. Tyranitar lives on 1 HP. So even in the event that a crit happened into Aggron, it would not have been enough. And that is going to be your game 1. Well played by Trey, and also well played by, I think it's Web Impulse. Well played by both of them. That was just game 1. So we talked about how much of a back and forth that was. Like, that was a crazy match, right? That's game 1. So, like, the idea is, like, hey, if I'm playing, like, this, like, really long team, like, and it's not, like, really bursty, it's going to be kind of hard to do this all day, like a long tournament event. Alright, we're going to spectate. They're going to game 2. But yeah, the Matcha Business was booming there, that's for sure. Okay. Let's see. Alright, so also notably, something that might have changed the game in a big way is if Greninja Mega'd, that Dark Pulse would have definitely picked up Sinestcha. And without the long-term healing, that Aggron might not have been the one to be able to do it. So, like, one misstep, one misclick can be game deciding. So it's really important that, like, you're paying a lot of attention. You're being very attentive to your turns. So, like, if you're playing a long team, like a stall team, it's going to be pretty difficult. All right, see, this time we see a shake-up. We see Clefable plus Aggron. All right, let's see. Also notably, something that Webby might want to change on their team moving forward is, like, I believe they have Earthquake. They do have Earthquake, but they don't have any Pokemon that are immune to Earthquake, so they can't click Earthquake very freely. Yeah, it was very complicated maneuvering. All right, so Aggron Mega Evolves. To me, this is like a, hey, I'm clicking Iron Defense and follow me. How do you deal? Melodic protects. Ooh. Okay, Earthquake. That is super effective. That is kind of how you deal. It doesn't do too much because Aggron's ability Filter does mitigate the amount super effective damage can do. Alright, Clefable just puts up a light screen and says, you know what, I don't even care. It's fine. Iron Defense goes up. The wall is here, and I guarantee you, the Matcha Business is probably booming right now. I bet we see Matcha come to town pretty soon here. Also, sometimes you do have to click Earthquake onto your own Pokemon. Sometimes if you're playing a game like this, sometimes you have to be pretty aggressive. Alright, so Rock Slide comes out. Do we see any flinches? Scald comes out too. Yes, there was a light screen, but that Aggron is now at half. There is no burn. Heal Pulse comes out. And Aggron's right back to full in another Iron Defense. Okay. So now we're in a weird position, because, like, we saw that Earthquake without Iron Defense does about half, and a crit does, like, 1.5 times more. So, like, even if you land a crit and they just click Heal Pulse, it's gonna go right back up to full. Alright, they go for Follow Me. The wall is just getting stronger. It really is. It basically, like, outside of a crit, this wall is probably unbreakable now. Oh my god. That was a super effective hit, and it did like 12 damage. Alright, Body Press comes out. They want to remove Melodic, so, I mean, Webby does get the better end of that turn, and that Clefable is slowly going down, but it's like, it might not be enough. Also, if you can burn this Aggron, that might be Webby's way back into this game, because burned Aggron's going to do half damage. And, like, yeah, those Body Presses are going to do a lot, but, like, the Rough Skin on Garchomp's going to be chipped too. I think Trey identifies this and says, you know what, I'm going to go for a Follow Me, and the idea here is like, hey, if I can stop you from burning me, I think I can just win this game right now. Okay, Rock Slide comes out. We haven't seen a flinch yet. Maybe we'll see it now. Alright, Scald comes out. It's not enough. Body Press comes out. Bye-bye, Melodic. Ugh. The wall is too strong. Also, something to note is, like, Gengar is a perfectly reasonable Pokemon to bring into this team. Alright, here comes Jiraiya. Alright, based on how we've seen Webby play, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Protect plus Earthquake play here. So the thing that I was talking about with identifying what Webby could do better in the future is that, like, if Webby had a flying type Pokemon, like right now would be a perfect opportunity to bring it in. Because then you could click Earthquake for free, right? Alright, Greninja Megas, which says, hey, I'm doing damage right away. Water Shrike comes out into Clefable. Cool animation. Will it be enough to pick up? 2, 3, 4, and it is enough to pick up. Critical hit. It is going to be tough to break through this wall. Alright, I'm imagining Garchomp's probably going for Rock Slide flinchies, and it's going to miss. Alright, Body Press into Garchomp. So, something we can talk about here that actually is pretty cool is that we saw that Trey left Webby alone. Trey left his Greninja alone, and the reason that he did that is because the way that Webby's been playing is like Protect Earthquake, Protect Earthquake, Protect Earthquake, right? And the second that Trey changed that, or sorry, Webby changed that, like, they were able to capitalize for one turn. Yes, they only were able to really remove the Clefable, especially because their Rock Slide missed. But because of that, there was an opportunity made available to them. So, like, doing the same thing conditions your opponent to expect the same kind of plays. Alright. So now, not gonna lie, my anxiety is killing me. Would it be chill if I dropped? Yeah, you can drop. The tournaments are always just for fun. Alright, so Electro Web comes out. This is going to be speed control, and I think that the reason we're seeing this is because Trey says, you know what, I don't really want to deal with, yeah, it was good conditioning. I don't want to deal with Incineroar. Oh, actually, he doesn't want to deal with Greninja. I was going to say, I thought the idea was like Electro Web plus, Electro Web plus Body Press into Incineroar will be enough to get it, but that is not what we go for. Okay, Aggron is now sitting at a mean 113 health. There's going to be a turn. Watch this. There's a 50-50 chance that if Trey has Sinestcha in the back, they just click Protect and switch the Sinestcha in. Because, like, Dark Pulse plus Flare Blitz might just be enough. Electro Web comes out. Will we see the flinch? A flincher would be huge. Nope, we will not. Trey says, get rid of this Greninja. He's too scary. I don't want to deal with him. And the question is, does Incineroar crit? Because a crit could remove this wall. He does not. And now with 2 Electro Webs stacked up, a super, super buffed up Aggron is probably just gonna wall him out. It's over, I think. I think that we're not going to a game 3. I think Trey's taking this one. Webby played it really well, but I think that the difference here was really based on how the teams were composed. Like, I mean, Hydro Pump missed, but the thing is, after 2 Electro Webs, yeah, Aggron's gonna be faster. And that's gonna be game. I think that's something that Webby might have wanted to do differently, is like, if he brings that Gengar in, that's potentially a turn you could steal back by switching Gengar in on one of those body presses. It was well played by both players, though. Alright. And we are going to jump to the Tim's match finish. Alright, we're going to refresh. It looks like their match did finish. The wall off the top rope. Yeah, that was a pretty wild one. Alright, we're going to check in on APG and Umar because no one in here currently is battling, so... That was a pretty stressful set, but it was fun to watch. Alright, we're entering Apex's room. Alright. Spectating. Okay. The wall coming in with the steel chair. He really did. Alright. Garchomp, King Gambit versus Sinestro and Charizard. Charizard is at like 3 health. Watch out, here comes a special attack. Yeah, basically. Alright. How are they going to handle the situation? Charizard's at 3 health. Sinestro is alive, but he's very low. Sinestro can redirect, but the thing is like, Charizard is going to go down to a Sucker Punch the second after. And also Charizard's going to go down if it attacks into Garchomp because of the rough skin. Alright, so the idea here is like, we're going to bring Melodic in. We're going to protect our Charizard because, yep, it is Zard X, so fun. The idea here is like, hey, if I bring Garchomp in later, or sorry, Sinestro in later, I might not go down to something like a Sucker Punch, or I can potentially redirect. That Earthquake is going to hit into the King Gambit, do a lot of damage. Critical hit into the Melodic. Do they double the spot? Nope. Alrighty. So Charizard's still pretty threatened here. It's like, let's see, can we check how buffed up this Charizard is? It is the fastest Pokemon, but like, I don't think one Macha-Gacha healing is going to get you out of range of Sucker Punch. He Protect failed Gambit. Oh, okay, I didn't see that. The thing is, it's like, King Gambit can... Oh, okay, also, these are the final 2 Pokemon on both sides. You could potentially switch Melodic, or switch Sinestro into heal Melodic up, and then you could go for, like, Scald into King Gambit, remove it that way. That is an option. You don't really want to click Icy Wind, because if you click Icy Wind, you're just going to enable this King Gambit to do crazy numbers of damage. Alright, Gambit goes for another Protect, which Garchomp is gonna underspeed the Charizard is gonna go down to a Dragon Claw, and honestly, that might just be the game. Yeah, you trade Charizard for Garchomp, but at the end of the day, it's like, now you have Sinestro plus Melodic versus King Gambit. I think the idea was like, I don't know. That was a tricky turn. Is this Scarf Chomp? It's Citrus Berry Chomp. Or maybe I'm looking at the wrong one. Let's see. That's Apex. I'm looking at the wrong one. Let's see. Apex's Garchomp was Scarfed. Okay, that's why. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. They probably thought that they might have been faster. Alright, Rage Powder comes out. Sinestro's gonna eat a... It goes down, never mind. I thought I was faster. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Alright, well played by both players. Honestly, it really... The decisive turn was that turn with Charizard X. You gotta make the big calls with Zardex. It is so volatile to play. I imagine, yeah. It seems like it's that Pokemon where it's like it's live and die by the Dragon Dances and setup. Alright, and that's going to be our final game of set number 3, which means we're going to move on to set number 4. I'm going to make my own room. And if you want to be the person that is streamed, you'll just have to join and tell your partner to join. So we're going to do this. Boom. I will share the code in just a second when I announce that the round is up. Oh, wait. This is them, right? Charizard Y, Charizard X, yeah. Looks like they have not reported Game 3 yet. Or that was just Game 2. Oh, so wait, they're going to a Game 3, I believe. I'm sorry, Apex, I apologize. Alright. We are gonna see this game from the very beginning. We might be a turn late. It'll be okay. Alright. Spectate. Alright, cool. Coolio. Alrighty. Alright, so we made it back in time for Team Select. So the thing to note here is that Charizard X actually does outspeed that Garchomp if it can get up to a +1. This is new information that Apex did not have in Game 1. And honestly, just that small little piece of information that wasn't made available to them was enough to decide this game. So we're going to have to see how this game ends up going. You kind of want to keep things close to your belt in terms of information. And like, if you're going to lose a game and you might give away something that's critical, sometimes it's better to just take the loss before you reveal that. That minus button forfeit thing is kind of a godsend if you're trying to leverage your information for future games against the same opponent. Alright, so Aerodactyl, Garchomp versus Sneasler and Melodic. So, let me check real quick. The Sneasler on Umar's side is White Herb. So, notably, the speed order is most likely going to go Aerodactyl, then Garchomp, Aerodactyl, then Sneasler, then Garchomp, then Melodic, outside of if there's a Tailwind. So basically, this Sneasler is threatening Fake Out this turn, but after this turn, it's kind of not the scariest Pokemon. This is Mega Aerodactyl, so notably, next turn it's going to be a real problem, but also, Melodic can kind of safely click Icy Wind this turn, too. Alright, so we see a Protect from Aerodactyl. We see a Fake Out into Aerodactyl. Garchomp doesn't look like it protected, so Earthquake gotta Fake Out the Milo. It's the mind game. I was gonna say, sometimes people will close combat their own Pokemon in order to get the advantage. Alright, Earthquake is gonna pick up Sneasler. We did see it was a critical hit. It might not have mattered. Okay, so we see the double up into the Aerodactyl. That's a huge swing of a turn for Apex. Alright. And honestly, since this... Yeah, it is a big oof. Honestly, that's a Mega Aerodactyl too, so that dual Wing Beat is going to do damage. We also we saw it with Scarf Garchomp, so we knew that it was clicking Earthquake. It's also clicking Earthquake again this turn. No surprises here. But because both of these Pokemon are physical attackers, if there's an Incineroar in the back, you can switch that in kind of freely, and then get Melodic into a better position. But at the same time, if your Pokemon you're bringing in are... Oh, well, maybe. It's Charizard. And you know what? Charizard can take an Earthquake pretty well. But the question is can Charizard take a Rock Slide if that comes out? Watching this is helping me. I never get to watch my games, and this is my most hated lead to see Aerochomp. That's fair. Alright, so Charizard does survive. He gets onto the battlefield. I have to imagine that the move that was clicked was Icy Wind. Alright, Earthquake does sizable damage to both Pokemon. Icy Wind misses the Aerodactyl. Ugh, that's probably... I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's probably game, folks. Has to be Icy. Yeah, I agree. It had to be Icy. Yeah, that is the last thing you want to see. GG Apex. Yeah, basically. So, it's not over, but it's looking really rough because Rock Slide also misses, right? And we saw that Garchomp and Dual Wing Beat misses. We also saw that Garchomp will underspeed Charizard. So basically, poor Charizard here has to hope that Aerodactyl can't connect. Or, you know what, you can protect and just go for another turn. I see the vision. I respect it. Melodic avoids. Hey, things are happening. I wouldn't want to be Umar in this position, but we're kind of crawling it back, maybe. Melodic does hang on. Scald comes out, says, you know what? I'm just fishing for the burn. Is it enough? It doesn't get the burn. This is pretty brutal, I'm not gonna lie to all of you. But what can Zard do? If they can remove... Okay. If they can remove this Aerodactyl, Zard does not have to Mega. Zard can stay as Zard in front of Garchomp. I think you had to click Icy Wind there the previous turn. Oh, he Megas. Alright, here comes Zard. Rock Slide comes out, but it misses Charizard. But can take out the Chomp but die to Arrow. You can take out the Chomp but then die to Arrow. It's not over. Okay, so it connects. Charizard takes a lot of recoil. So notably, if Melodic clicked Icy Wind, Charizard would probably be outspeeding here if it connected. And also, there's the potential that Melodic would have outsped Garchomp too. All right, we'll see. Like, the luck's been really bad, but at the same time, it's like they missed a Rock Slide, and that brings that brings the potential for Charizard to come back into this. All right. This is still so hard. Oh, thank you for the follow, June Bunny. Okay, so now the question here is like, do you Sucker Punch Charizard? Do you Rock Slide? Rock Slide can miss. Do you attack Aerodactyl? Does Aerodactyl just click Tailwind and set up for a potential Basculegion in the back? If that's the case, then do you just do Tailwind and KO Sinestro, and then is the game just over right then and there? There's so many questions on everyone's mind. There are not any answers at the time. If Apex has the option to just click Tailwind plus remove Sinestro, then I think that this game will probably just end on the spot. Let's see. Got beat so bad I got the... Oh, Sinestro has Protect, so we do have options. Rock Slide. And that's the end of Charizard. You got the team building group going crazy finding lines. Oh my gosh. Well, hopefully you find those lines. Alright. Kowtow Cleave. The idea was like, hey, if I dodge a Rock Slide, there's a chance. Unfortunately, they don't dodge the Rock Slide. And I think that Umar's game is probably sealed here. We'll see if they choose to play it out. Melodic does join. Melodic's at really, really low health. Honestly, a Rock Slide plus Kowtow Cleave will probably be just enough to wrap this game up. But we've seen Rock Slide does miss. And maybe with like a Rock Slide burn plus a Matcha Gotcha, or sorry, not Rock Slide burn, a Scald burn into King Gambit plus a Matcha Gotcha, maybe it'll be enough. A Rock Slide connects on both. Melodic goes down. Where's the follow-up? It's so hard from here for Umar. I think you need to Trick Room, and it should still be, it's still stall possible. All right, so King Gambit did outspeed. But they also must be running Bright Powder City, like me, LOL. That's funny. All right, Kowtow Cleave comes out. Sinestro does survive. Wow, that's a bulky Sinestro. Oh, because it got burned. I didn't see that. Okay. I got distracted by the comment. Okay. So, I think even if you just Sucker Punch it, it goes down from here. Sucker Punch comes out. and it goes down. Well played to Umar. They saw their outs. They tried. It was hard. Apparently my stream stopped and is now back again. I don't know what happened, so I apologize. Also, thank you, June Bunny, for the follow. I greatly appreciate it. We are going to go to set number 4. I tested some... Also, did the stream end for people? To me, it said it disconnected or reconnected. I don't know what happened. I tested so many berries, but Bright Powder has been the best on it for real. That's funny. Alright, we're going to set the next one to go. Let's go. Pokepals, tournaments. Stream died for 1 second. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Okay, but we're back. Alright, we're pairing the next round. Alright, turn. Alright, and then I'm going to make a room code for anyone that wants their games to be streamed. Oh. Make a room. Alright. It's been laggy, but never cut out on YouTube. Weird that it's been laggy. It might be something with my internet. Alright. Yeah, that was a wild match. It was fun watching, guys. Alright. Oh, we have a few people joining the Discord too. Cool. Glad to have you guys. Yeah, honestly, I was scared. I was like, if one big rock slide dodge could change this whole game, but like that turn 1 just went crazy for I think it was Apex. Umar was the one that lost. Yeah, it was Apex. All right, so Conrad and Trey are here first, so we did just watch a Trey game, but they did make... Oh, wait, we got Meganium? Oh, wait. Charizard, Venusaur. Wait, what are we talking about? Meganium? Oh, they both have the Meganium icon. That's what it is. Okay. Okay, they were here first, so we're going to watch them. All right, so notably, Trey does have the ability to change the weather, but I guarantee you that Aggron does not want to take a sun-boosted heat wave. Like, it might be it might... Oh, wait. This is Charizard X. What am I talking about? I apparently can't read. So, never mind. This is gonna be quite fine for Mega Aggron. He loves seeing Charizard X by comparison. Alright, it is Koba Berry Venusaur. I don't imagine that's going to come into play. Koba Berry is a berry that reduces damage coming from flying type attacks. There is Endeavor Whimsicott. That will probably play a factor in this matchup, potentially. Choice Scarf Sturdy Archaludon, White Herb Sneasler, and Leftovers Melodic. Conrad's team is really interesting in the sense where it's like, it feels like it's built in a way where it can really punish other players for playing their teams, like common archetypes. Like this Venusaur feels like it's built to exist on other people's Sun teams, because I don't see a way for it to set Sun. So it's just interesting. How often are tournaments held, Black Bunny? They are held every single Monday. So if you ever want to join, feel free to join the Discord. I see you're watching on YouTube. I need to find out how to write that on YouTube. This is a very best of one Zard X team. LOL, you would never guess it. Yeah, I would not. It looks like it's Zard plus Venusaur, right? It looks like it's Charizard Y. But Black Bunny, if you go to the description on my YouTube page, there is a Discord link, and you can find the tournaments happening every single Monday at 7:30 Eastern time. All right, so Skull comes out. Will-O-Wisp comes out from Skeledirge, says, you know what, Sneasler, you're going to do half damage, and my My Aggron is gonna laugh. I'm gonna Iron Defense in your face. Skeledirge heals up a little bit. Scald did just about half, so thanks to the 1 tick of leftovers, outside of a high roll or a crit, it's looking like Melodic's going to be pretty safe to just, Skeledirge is going to be safe to not go down. So what Conrad could do is say, you know what, the Aggron might be a lost cause, so let's double the other spot. All right, let's see, Clefable comes in. Close Combat comes in, let's see how much it does. I mean, that's not nothing. It's not a lot, but it's not nothing. Special defense goes down, so does normal defense. Alright, Sneasler is now unburdened, which means it's going to be faster than every other Pokemon. Scald comes out. Can we get a burn? Oh, the damage is adding up. No burn. Iron defense. And we saw earlier that this Clefable has Heal Pulse, so it's looking kind of scary. That Aggron might go from 94 HP to back to full. But at the same time, if Conrad can just burn this Aggron, the damage output is going to go down significantly. So we're going to have to see, does Aggron protect? Does Clefable click follow me? Is there a heal pulse? Aggron does click protect. Let's see what Conrad chose to do. Conrad goes for Diaclaw, says, you know what, I anticipate you're probably going for protect. Do we see a status? We do not. Icy Wind. Looks like Conrad's trying to leverage control of the battlefield. Alright, Icy Wind comes out. Speed goes down on Clefable. Light Screen goes up. Okay. Honestly, pretty good turn for Conrad. Like, it could have gone pretty sideways, but they leverage it in a way where they're like, you know what, maybe I can just bring it back from here. Let's see. Is this a Citrus Berry Clefable? It is. So, I don't know that Clefable can be removed, and if Clefable can't be removed, oh, it's gonna be close. Do we see? Oh, asleep! That's the best thing you could get here. Clefable does eat its berry, but... Okay, Scald into Aggron. Oh, Conrad is nickel and diming it. He's getting so close. Another Iron Defense. Was it too greedy, though, is the question. Clefable is in range of Dire Claw. The question is, though, is there a Sinestcha in the back? Because if there's a Sinestcha in the back, this game might change in a big way. Gonna need to get a little lucky RNG to break this Aggron. Potentially, but like, look at Aggron's health. Like, it's going down, and outside of Clefable, the only way to heal it is with Sinestcha. Did Trey bring the Sinestcha? There's Ice-T. We know him. We love him. We might not. I don't know. It's up to you. All right. Aggron, what does he go for? He does not protect. So if we could see a Scald burn here, it would be pretty impactful. This Aggron keeps getting... He can't keep getting away with it. Okay. Alright, so Aggron is still here. He's body pressed up, or he's Iron Defensed up. We see the first Pokemon lost on Conrad's side of the field, but Trey has a sleeping Clefable and a half-health Skeledirge. Like, basically, a lot of Trey's Pokemon are doing okay, to say the least. So, there is a chance that Charizard could just break everything. Like, if you double this Aggron and they don't click Rage Powder or they don't click Protect, like, you might just see this Aggron go up in smoke. Like, Tough Claw's boosted Flare Blitz is not a move to laugh off. Alright, Charizard is gonna Mega Evolve. I imagine that Charizard's job here is probably to remove this, this is gonna be so tough for Conrad, not gonna lie. I agree, it is gonna be tough. Okay, Charizard just goes for a Protect. Sneasler goes for a Coaching. It looks like we did not see... Okay, Body Press comes out. It looks like we did not see a Rage Powder, which means the room is going up. I'm rooting for him, but it is looking rough. I agree. The question is, can this Charizard even survive a Body Press with a +1 defense? And the question is, after that, can it survive that? It then survive the Flare Blitz recoil it's about to take when it rams itself into the Sinestcha. Because this Trick Room is going to not only, like, enable this Aggron, but it's also going to enable the Skeledirge when it comes back in. Like, a great heads-up play by Trey here. Okay, so we're going to have to wait. Sneasler's health is looking really low, too. So it's like, yeah, you might be able to launch another Dire Claw into Ice-T, but, like, Body Press will take you up. The boosted up Charizard leaves. It's a bait. Here comes Venusaur. Does it survive? It does, but not super well. Life Dew comes out. Jump up, jump up. You can jump up. Alright, Ice-T goes back to full HP. Dire Claw. Honestly, okay, crit. Sleep! Okay, light screen wears off. Both supporters are now asleep. Trick Room's up for 3 more turns. Honestly, like, it might just be too little too late for Conrad, but like if you were trying to find a way back into this game, I think it's this. Like, you could use Sleep Powder with Venusaur and switch Sneasler out to enable another Fake Out later. Does Trey call this? Body Press comes out. Bye-bye Sneasler. This game is getting so scary. Like, I just question if Conrad has the resources to deal with it. There goes the first turn of Sinestro Sleep. OMG, Dire Claw is doing things. Yeah, even with, here's the thing to note, even with 2 sleeps, like, it's still not enough. Like, it's hard. The other thing too is, like, we're gonna, realistically, right, the way the next few turns are gonna play out is we're gonna see a Fake Out probably come out into Aggron. You know what, actually? I was gonna say that this could be the turn instead of setting up. You could just go for damage. Let's see what happens. Sneasler goes for Fake Out. Icy is fast asleep. Flare Blitz into Ice-T. Akaberry, is it enough to save it? It is. Are you okay? Alright. Alright. The thing though is we're about to make it through the final turn of Trick Room, which is basically gonna get us to the point where it's like, hey, we can click 1 Flare Blitz. We have got 1 shot, 1 opportunity, 1 moment to potentially Flare Blitz this Aggron and hope it's going to be enough. Because Sinestro, okay, so Sinestro's going to wake up, right? Because it's been asleep for too many turns now. Oh! Bye-bye Sneasler. I think that's just game. I think that you needed to double protect there to get you through the last turn of Trick Room. I think that the idea was like, hey, I'm going to be sneaky. Oh, no. Didn't read it. Yeah. I mean, it was well played. It was well played. You were really trying to leverage it. That's a hard Pokemon to break. Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, Charizard's still got a pulse, right? In a world where Dragon Claw picks up and Body Press doesn't. If they didn't Body Press Zard, I lost, so... Or if they did Body Press Zard. Well, probably... Did you not have Protect on the Sneasler for the last turn? That was a really difficult game. But you played it really well. No, oh, no Protect. That, okay, that, yeah, you have coaching. That makes complete sense, yeah. That makes complete sense. So it was kind of a 50-50, but like it was a 50-50, but super favored for them. All right. It is funny how much like Zard X versus Zard Y changes that matchup, because Zard Y would just be like Heat Wave, Heat Wave, Heat Wave, Heat Wave, you know? Also, the coaching into switching was like a kind of a crazy play. Like, not in a bad way, but just like I didn't anticipate it coming. GG Conrad, you'll get him in game 2. Yeah, potentially for sure. Conrad played it really well. Honestly, there was one turn where like Sinestro just switched in where you could have launched a Flare Blitz at Aggron, but it's so hard to make those plays, and also you're playing for a crit, which is, again, very difficult. So, also good job, Trey. I agree. Both players played that really well. Pokemon like, I keep thinking about, and I'm like, it's probably not the best, but, like, Hisuian Decidueye would probably do decent into Mega Aggron, because it's got a high crit rate on a fighting move. I didn't read Trick Room, haha, my fault for not looking at Team Sheet. Oh yeah, that's, you know, that totally happens. That's, you're not alone on that one. Also, the nice thing for Charizard here is, like, it can't be burned by the Skeledirge. Like, that burn was really annoying for Sneasler. Trey does not have the same luxury with Charizard. Also, like, this is a pretty free turn for Charizard to set up outside of, like, what's Skeledirge got? He got Shadow Ball? He does have Shadow Ball, which is not 0 damage. Also, Charizard, to beat Aggron, kind of has to ram itself into it, which means that Shadow Ball chip will add up. But if this Skeledirge goes for Will-O-Wisp, or doesn't go for oh, never mind. Here comes the big boy. We're going to the big leagues. Super Flare Blitz. Is it enough? Oh my gosh, it lives on such little health, but it does live. That's crazy. That is crazy that +1 Flare Blitz from Tough Claws Charizard does not pick up. We see Will-O-Wisp come out. Is it Iron Defense or is it Body Press is the next question. It's Iron Defense. Alright guys, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the mind games. Like, the question is like, does Sinestro switch into the Skeledirge spot? Does Aggron protect? This was a much better start for Conrad, but, like, how does Conrad capitalize on it from here? Also, Conrad also potentially has a Venusaur, which would ignore the redirection from Sinestro's Rage Powder, which is also a pretty strong option. Okay. But at the same time, Venusaur is going to have to potentially take a Torch Song for its trouble, too. I did not see that Venusaur has its own Sunny Day on this team, too. That's also a crazy adaptation. Alright, so Aggron comes in. Sinestro comes in, Aggron protects, gets some health back. We see a close combat launched into Aggron. What do we see Charizard do here? Dragon Dance. Charizard says, you know what? I am the problem. Deal with address me. Okay, the only thing to note, though, is, like, Charizard's gonna ram itself into the Sinestro at top speeds, and it's going down afterwards, right? It cannot do that pretty safely. So, like, if Sinestro clicks Rage Powder, Charizard's gonna probably destroy it, I'd hope, at +2. But the thing is, it's gonna allow for Sneasler to attack this Aggron with another close combat. While it's burned, it seems like all the damage is going to start being permanent as long as Clefable isn't our 4th Pokemon. And if it is, it's gonna be kind of difficult. Alright, let's see. What does Trey do here? I'm anticipating it's a Rage... Trey just lets it happen. Trey says, you know what? I don't need this Aggron anymore. It's been holding me back for too long. We're going into the Trick Room, I imagine. But you know what? Conrad's got the Dire Claw of Infinite Sleeps, so... Not this time. Okay. Okay, I like this play. The idea is like, hey, your Charizard's really fast, and I think that I can just destroy you with Skeledirge plus Sinestro. Conrad has completely shifted the momentum between the last 2 games too. We have to address this. Let's see. Conrad Sneasler has Coaching, Fake Out, Dire Claw, and Close Combat. Also notably, all these coaching boosts, these Dragon Dance boosts, they are not going to be effective on Skeledirge because Skeledirge has Unaware. And Skeledirge's Unaware makes it so that it's not going to, like, modify the damage that it takes from all these, like, amps that Charizard's getting. Alright, so Charizard protects. Machakachik comes out. Is this stamina on Conrad's Archaludon? It is sturdy. So it can take another... There goes sturdy, unfortunately. Torch Song... Trey calls it. He says, I know your Archaludon's about to come in. The only thing is like, it's really not enough. The other pro, though, about this situation is that Archaludon's Draco Meteors, the Unaware will not affect him. So, like, if he has, like, -6 special attack, Unaware's not going to pay attention to those. So, like, even though Charizard's boosted up, the downside of Unaware can work in Conrad's favor. Alright, Melodic enters the field. We see Rage Powder. Plus Torch Song. Trey really says, I don't care about your Charizard, and Conrad gets rid of all of his boosts, which is hard. That's a really difficult play to make. Honestly, crazy play by Trey. He anticipates that Conrad's gonna just say, you know what, I don't care about you. Like, I'm just kind of jaw dropped here. Like, it was the right play to make, but it was like a really hard play for Trey to make there. Like, yeah, you're probably gonna get through the Trick Room, but holy cow. This Skeledirge is like, you thought Aggron was the problem? No, this Skeledirge is the problem. Charizard protects. What does Melodic do? Alright, Machagacha comes out. Does it connect? It does, but it doesn't do too much damage. The question is, does Skeledirge correctly target for like the millionth time in a row? And it does. And it drops the special defense. But it... Ooh, that's how you get back into this. The competitive... Not going to actually do much for Melodic here, now that I think about it, because it's going to get taken out by this Sinestcha. And unless this Melodic has Protect, it's not getting through this Trick Room turn. It does not have... Oh, it does have Protect. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a game. Alright, Melodic protects. Melodic seems to be the new answer to all of Trey's problems, or Conrad's problems. Alright, Machagacha comes out. I think the idea here is like, hey, I'm anticipating that Charizard will survive this Super Shadow Ball. And it does! Flare Blitz comes out. The Aqua Berry is gonna make it so that it takes less damage. Ugh. Wow, I've never considered Skelly, but turns out it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's been really putting in a lot of work. Flare Blitz is gonna... The Flare Blitz recoil is gonna remove Charizard from this game. Melodic is so close to bringing it home, but the thing is like... Oh, you know what? The Skeledirge is not gonna get to take advantage of the special defense drops on the Melodic. So really... So it's still scary. I think right now, the play is always just Icy Wind plus Dire Claw into Ice Tea, because Ice Tea does not have Protect. Alright, you could protect your Sneasler. You could protect your Sneasler. That's not a bad play to make. Oh, Trey says no Rage Powder necessary. Icy Wind comes out. It does nothing to Skeledirge, because competitive is not taken into account because Skeledirge is unaware. Yeah, Skelly's looking really real this game. Speed drops, but here comes the Super Torch Song. It lives, but it's going to go down to burn most likely. Alright. Leftovers healing. Skelly is like plus 1,000,000 right now. Who is Trey's final Pokemon? It's Clefable. Okay. It's not... The Clefable does not have Protect. It's not over. Like, this game has been crazy, but it's not over. Skeledirge has, like, oh, you know what? Actually, it might be over. I don't know. Skeledirge has, like, 1,000,000 buffs. So, basically, you can Dire Claw plus attack into this Clefable this turn, right? Dire Claw. Scald will remove it. No, it won't. I take it back. It's Magic Guard Clefable. Okay, this game is looking very Trey. Torch Song into the Melodic saying, you know what? I know my Clefable's going to live. I don't need to Shadow Ball this turn. Oh, and then Sneasler goes down to burn. I love how the Skeletor just made this like we were all worried about this Aggron, but Skeletor just went crazy style this game. Okay. Scald. And then realistically, like, yes, Trey can click Shadow Ball, but Torch Song might just be enough. Because while Skeletor is unaware of Melodic's boost, Melodic is not unaware of Skeletor's boost. Skeletor does not take the KO on Melodic. If one Scald can do it, there's a chance. But the thing is, like, yeah, Melodic normally would do, like, a Super Scald, which is going to do more damage than normal, but the thing is, Skeletor just unaware says, I'm going to ignore all of these boosts that Melodic has. Like, a normal Pokemon, a normal Fire type with Skeletor's stats would probably go down to a Scald here, but this Skeletor is not a normal Pokemon. He does not care for the boosted up Melodic. It means no difference to him. It makes no difference to him. See, look at that little animation of the bird hopping on his head. That's new. I think that they've added some animations in this game. Scald isn't enough! Oh, it's nowhere near enough. Even with the +2, it might not have been enough. Shadow Ball! And that's game. Well played to Conrad and Trey, baby. Crazy set. And it looks like Umar and Ortega are still going too, so we're going to hop into their game. If no one's in this lobby we're playing currently. Okay. Seven, 1, 8, 3. Yeah, that was a good game. That was a fun one to watch too. That one was stressful. I mean, I didn't realize that Skeledirge was going to be such a good partner for Aggron. Like, we were like, oh, he beat Aggron, he won, and Skeledirge was like, no, hold my, I don't know, crocodile skin bag. I don't know. Glad I got to show up Croc on stream. LOL. Thanks for watching. Yeah, no, that was crazy. Okay, so let's check out this board state. All right, Trick Room. This is the final turn of Trick Room. No Pokemon have fainted. We have seen Kangaskhan and Farigiraf only on Ortega's side of the field, but Umar has shown Melodic, Incineroar, as well as Megazard. So we're going to have to see how... I'm seriously thinking about making a team with Skelly. The Skelly Nation has arrived after Trey's plays from last game. Alright, Incineroar goes down to the Hyper Voice. Skeledirge was looking really good there. Alright, Double Edge isn't enough. It is not enough to remove the Melodic. Ooh, I almost spoke too soon. It is not enough to remove this Melodic. Kangaskhan goes down to 27 health. We see a Scald from Melodic. Is it enough to pick up Farigiraf? It is not. Also, notably, Trick Room is still up, and this Kangaskhan just outsped the Melodic under Trick Room, which to me says it's probably pretty likely that that Kangaskhan is affected by Icy Wind. It is not. It's just a super, super, super slow Kangaskhan. Alright, so now, notably, this Charizard is putting out a lot of offensive pressure. It can Flare Blitz into this Farigiraf, and then since Kangaskhan was underspeeding Melodic, you can just double up both of them. So Dragon Claw is not enough to pick up. They ignore it. Oh my gosh, I bet Trick Room's about to go back up. Oh no, you should have just gone for the Flare Blitz, potentially. Psychic, okay, thank goodness. Alright, so now it is going to be a 2 versus 3 situation. Kangaskhan's been removed. Who is the final Pokemon remaining? If the question is, does the Melodic do enough damage, the answer is usually no. But this time it wasn't Melodic. This time it was Charizard X. Oh, you know what? Actually, Lazy, there was a Skeledirge situation with Melodic. So yeah, never mind. I take it back. Melodic is fairly fast on the Zardex team. If they started with the same team and made the same Pokemon swaps as me, LOL. Yeah, okay, that makes sense, especially for Icy Wind stuff. Alright, so notably, Rock Slide should pick up Farigiraf, and then doesn't always connect, and then Flare Blitz will probably be enough to pick up Kingambit. Oh my gosh, I'm imagining we're seeing Helping Hand boosted Sucker Punch to remove this Charizard. Is it gonna be enough? It's not. It looks like we're probably gonna see Aerodactyl versus whatever the final Pokemon is on Ortega's side of the field. Let's see who the final Let's also see if Charizard even has enough gas in the tank to remove this King Gambit. It does, but that's a lot of recoil, so say bye-bye to Charizard. And we're going to see a 1 versus 1 situation, but the thing is I imagine that Aerodactyl probably has a Focus Sash on Umar's side. It does. Okay. So who is the final Pokemon that we are going to see face off against Aerodactyl? It is Torkoal. So type advantages would make you believe that Aerodactyl is probably going to win this one, but let's see, does Torkoal have Weather Ball? It does. Torkoal does have Weather Ball, and Rock Slide has a chance to miss, and Torkoal has a crazy defense stat. Oh, well, I may have Caster Cursed this one. I was going to say, you would think that Aerodactyl was going to win, but as you can see, 2 Weather Balls will be enough to remove Aerodactyl. But how many Rock Slides does it take to get to the center of a Torkoal Pop is the next question on our minds. Also, Rock Slide can flinch, so this game really could go either way. Rock Slide does half. Do we see a flinch? There's a flinch! Parker, why? Because I have to keep it entertaining. Of course. Alright, notably, I'm pausing something to think about. Because it's always Aerodactyl versus Torkoal in this situation, I think you should... Okay, congratulations, Rock Slide does connect. There is something that might be worth considering here, which is that if you click Protect every other turn, Aerodactyl has a secondary out of getting out of Sun, and then Torkoal never beats it. So something to consider, because Torkoal's not going to be like, I used Shell Smash. Great play by both players. Sorry if it ruined the hype, but something to think about for the future. Because it would be Protect, Rock Slide, Protect, Rock Slide, and if you get 1 flinch, you're pretty much set to get out of the Sun. Alright, well played by both players. That was a very scary set. Ooh. That I had to keep people on their toes. Like, I've used Torkoal enough to know how Torkoal works, and I did not think he was out of that. Alright, we are gonna go to our final set. I'm going to make a room code. Stalling Sun is smart. That would be optimal. It's just something to think about for future games, because you want to play to every single out you have available to you. Especially because you were probably very close endgame, especially with the Caster Curse. Yeah, it was very close. I had to put a little bit of spice on there. All right. Ideally, we're gonna watch someone new. You know what? The Trey is up against Alt Kyle, who is 4-0, and I don't think we've watched Kyle once though. I want to make sure that people that have not had it, because, okay, so we're kind of in a weird situation. Like, I have not watched Alt Kyle, but I have watched Trey. I've not watched Snorkel. Actually, we watched a little bit of Snorkel, but it was at the end. We watched a whole Aiden set. We have not watched any Lazy Warlock this time. We have just watched Conrad. We have not watched A-Bomb. We've not watched some Bird Gal. So it is one of those things where it's like, if we get more people in here, we will join them. Trey is currently fighting the #1 seed, and it's someone we haven't watched at all yet. So I guess if they come in here, they come in here. Also, Alt Kyle has Scissor, which would be a pretty cool Pokemon to watch, because we have not seen any of that yet. Yeah, that was a fun set to stream. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys have had a good time watching as well. I guess it makes sense to watch this set because it is like the highest level set currently, because it's the only one person is 4-0. So like this is potentially whoever's going to win the tournament. Well, I guess that's not true because there are a few people that are 3-1. So if Trey wins this one, he'll be 4-1, but there will be a few other 4-1s. Trey is currently our number 6 seed. North went 3-0 to drop, and they are currently our 4th seed, so they could have won it all potentially. But you know, sometimes you just gotta take a break. Identifying when you need to step out is part of playing Pokemon. All right, we're gonna watch some Scizor gameplay. All right, so this is Scizor versus Aggron. This Pelipper is gonna be a huge part of this matchup because Weather Balls are gonna do big damage into Aggron. Let's see what kind of Dragonite this is. This is a Mega Dragonite with Tailwind and Dragon Pulse. The Incineroar also has Flare Blitz. Oh, you know what? Archaludon's going to be a huge part of this matchup. Electro Shots into Aggron will add up. Notably, Skeledirge will have the ability to ignore the boosted up Aggron, or it's not Aggron, Archaludon. So there's going to be a lot of things to pay attention to. Game Boy Scizor, yeah. I mean, he did come from Game Boy originally, right? Is he the only person? Well, Dragonite. Dragonite's the other Pokemon that came from Game Boy. Pelipper came from Game Boy Advance. Clefable. It's Clefable and Tyranitar are the Game Boy players from Trey's side. Alright, so we see Skeledirge plus Clefable as the lead for this side. I think the idea here is like, hey, I can just get a few Torch Songs up and I can just kind of become a menace for you, is what I think that Trey is thinking. Especially because Trey does have the option to set Sand later, which will then make it so Pelipper can only use Rock-type Weather Balls. This is a Electro Shot, Dragon Pulse, Aura Sphere Archaludon, and this Basculegion is Choice Scarf plus Flip Turn. So I imagine... Okay. I was going to say, I imagine we probably see a Flip Turn from this Basculegion. It does go for a Flip Turn. Trey makes a heads-up play and uses the temptation of Skeledirge to make it so that this Basculegion stays in, which means that this Archaludon is stuck charging for a turn. Light Screen goes up. This is a very interesting turn, because, you know, it's like Light Screen is cool, but it's like, how are you dealing with Super Pelipper plus Super Archaludon in a second? Yove ran these 6 Rainmons in an OIC Invitational. It's fun. It's a fun team and really good if you maintain weather. It's so hard to use if you lose the Weather War, so I'm impressed with the 4-0. Kyle's a great player. They're always playing on Limitless. Alright, so Light Screen is up. Clefable uses Follow Me. We're probably most likely going to see Flip Turn come out, and I'm imagining we're going to see Basculegion switch to Pelipper, but the thing is like, Archaludon's already charged up. So it's launching this move regardless. So you don't have to switch Pelipper in here. Alright, Scizor comes in. If Torch Song went into this Basculegion spot, Trey is a gamer. Let's see if he does it. Alright, Electroshot doesn't do a ton of damage. Activates the Citrus Berry. I want to see Trey do it. Trey, please. Okay, Shadow Ball. Makes a heads-up play. Thinks that Pelipper's coming in. I understand... Alright, I understand the logic here. Also, is Skeledirge Citrus Berry is the next question I had. I think it is. No, it's leftovers. Never mind. This Scizor could pretty freely Bullet Punch into Clefable, but I am anticipating Scissor's going to switch out and we're going to see the Weather War continue. Also, Scizor just shook his thing. Like, there are additional animations added to this game that did not used to exist. Scizor uses Protect. I like that play a lot. We're going to see Follow Me, and what does Skeledirge do? I'm imagining we're going to see... Clef just ate the Citrus. Oh, yeah, I need to read more. Skeledirge goes for Will-O-Wisp, but it does not connect on Scizor. That was kind of a nobody did anything kind of turn, which is fine. I'm anticipating we see a Bullet Punch come out. If it Megas, there's no way in my mind that this Clefable is going to survive. Clefable retreats. Who's going to take this Bullet Punch? I was going to say the perfect person to take it would be Rotom Wash. That Pokemon does not care at all. This Pokemon is going to care a lot. The new animations are so slight sometimes, but it's a great touch. I agree. All right. Let's see what happens here. Bullet Punch comes out into Tyranitar. I bet it takes it, but not well. Yeah, it does take it. Tyranitar's Focus Sash, so it can take a double up. Dragon Pulse as well. It's +1. It's in the sand. Tyranitar takes it. It lives to fight another day. Torch Song comes out. Skeletor says, why do I even care about Will-O-Wisp? I can just KO Scissor and get a boost off of it. Alright. Skeletor takes Sand Chip, but heals up thanks to the leftovers. Alright. Now what do we see happen? I'm anticipating we probably see Basculegion return, right? Yeah. Like, why not? It's Bask time, baby. Alright. And we still have yet to see who Trey's final Pokemon is here. A giant Wave Crash could just remove Skeletor, which seems to be the bane of Kyle's existence. But Trey's been slow playing it, for the most part getting what he wants out of it. I say that with like a little bit of hesitation because, I was about to say, here comes a giant Wave Crash, and there goes Skeletor. And the question is like, is this, did he call the other move too? Is it Aura Sphere? Okay, so he says, you know what, I respect T-Tar staying in. The thing is like, if Trey just clicked Protect there, he would have been so far ahead. He would have been in such a good position. But like, the game, if you've got Aggron, nothing's over, right? Okay. So we know they're locked into Wave Crash. Clefable cannot Protect. Archaludon is here. It is at +1. The annoying thing for Aggron here is that the other Pokemon are all special attackers, so... Okay. Aggron Mega Evolves. Clefable Follow Me's. I'm anticipating that we're going to see Wave Crash into Clefable plus Aura Sphere into Archaludon. Wave Crash does pick up. Skeletor was set to pop off again if it stayed safe that turn. Yeah, that was a really big decisive turn. And I get why Trey made the play he made. But it was one of those things too where it was like, hey, I'm behind. I'm not necessarily behind, but I've played the game one way for so long. Let's switch gears. And Kyle says, you know what? No, I'm calling you on that. You can't just get away with stuff like that. Not with me, anyway. Alright. Tyranitar returns, which means that the Weather War is effectively over. Archaludon does not love Body Press, and notably has not been hit yet. But I think that the double up of Aura Sphere plus Body Press, or sorry, Aura Sphere plus, can't talk, Wave Crash will just pick up Aggron from here. Wave Crash goes into Tyranitar. Alright. We've seen that the wall is slower than the bridge. The bridge connects with Aura Sphere. It's looking rough. Here comes Body Press. Oh, this is Choppleberry Bridge. This just got a lot harder too. Wonder what Kyle has in the back. It's got to be Pelipper. But the thing is, he's so far ahead, he doesn't even have to reveal it. Alright, and then... Like... Trey made such a good play on the scissor turn, and it's so hard to see that, like, they're both playing fantastic, right? It's hard to see that, like, one turn can make such a difference in the game, right? Wave Crash, is this enough? It is. Adaptability Basculegion is no slouch. So I respect the way that Trey played that game. I don't think that those were the wrong 4 Pokemon. I think that Trey had to make a difficult call, and so did Kyle, and Kyle was rewarded for it. Like, it makes sense though. It was a fun set to watch, like our fun game to watch. That was game 1. So let's check out game 2, baby. Alrighty. Alright, we're going to... Alright. Okay, so we saw Skeletor's was strong. The thing is, I think that you really want the ability to set Trick Room up because all of Trey's Pokemon are really slow. The only thing that's really difficult is that most of Trey's Pokemon are threatened by Kyle's Pokemon. Like the Pokemon that sets Trick Room is Sinestcha, and it's like, how do you get Sinestcha into a position where it can click the Trick Room button next to Basculegion, next to Incineroar, Pelipper, even Archaludon after an Electric Shot. All right, so Archaludon, Incineroar. I do like that lead for Kyle. Kyle has the ability to click Fake Out. But the thing is like, hey, here are 2 Pokemon that both don't have to worry about Fake Out. They do worry about Dark type moves, but hey, Chople over Leftovers makes it really tricky too. Yeah, I agree. I think that the way that Trey gets into this is he has to just start Torch Songing early. I think he has to just get like really online and be really annoying. All right, so Skeletor protects. I think the idea here is that he's like, hey, I'm going for Trick Room. Dragon Pulse, did they double the Sinestcha? Because if they doubled the Sinestcha, it's going to be a really rough turn for Trey. It lives! Okay. It lives, and I bet Aggron comes in. I'm calling it. I think Aggron's going to make a very early entrance. Okay, I also, like, Incineroar kind of just free to use attacks here, right? Oh, Rotom, that's a change up. Okay, Torch Song does connect. Does a decent amount of damage. Okay, I was gonna say, that's a lot. All right, it's a critical hit. Stamina gets boosted. Throat Chop, that means that they can't use Torch Song anymore. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right, Dragon Pulse comes out. Skeletor heals up a little bit with Leftovers. That's actually quite a problem that you can't use Torch Song anymore. This boosting move that's like, Scissor gets in for free now. Like, that's scary. Also, I think that there's a world where you... I think there's a world where you either protect Skeletor or switch in Sinestcha. It looks like neither of those things happened. I think that Kyle has identified... Also, I think Kyle's identified that he can bring a Scissor in safely here if he's going Scissor. Pelipper comes in. Does Trey read this and Volt Switch out? That would be crazy. What does Trey go for? Hydro Pump. That makes sense. It's gonna do damage, yeah. Okay. I think Skeletor is in range where a +1 Shadow Ball will pick up from here. Into Pelipper. There are 2 Trick Room turns remaining. I think you heal up your Skeletor. Alright, does Incineroar come in here? Okay, that also makes sense. Let's see what the players do. Skeletor goes for Protect. Interesting. Volt Switch out. Rotom is slower than Archaludon. Do we see a heal onto... Who do we see the heal onto? Or what move do we see is the next question. Because I wouldn't be surprised to see Tyranitar come in either. Did he Aura Sphere that spot, though? Electroshot. Ooh, he's trapped! Trey got him a little bit! Hey, I was the one who played versus Trey earlier. Yes, the lack of Mega Greninja was the result of a misclick. You played it really well, Philip. Like, that was a hard set, but nothing but respect for you. Alright, so now I think Trey just does switch in Sinestcha plus Shadow Ball here, right? Like, there's no real reason not to. Also, we haven't seen the final Pokemon for Kyle. This is a really difficult turn, actually. Trey stays in, gets faked out, breaks the Sash on Tyranitar. Torch Song goes off. We saw the last one was a crit. This one was not. It did significantly less. Stamina goes off. What move do we see? Tyranitar flinches. Electroshock comes out. Into who? Trey says, you know what? I think it's better to keep Skeledirge healthy than it is to... Oh, thanks for the subscribe, Philip. I really appreciate it. Alright, Skeledirge. Skeledirge is... This is a hard one. I think Trick Room ended already, right? Yeah, Trick Room's over, which means that the speed order now goes Arch, Dirge... Sorry, it goes Arch, Incin, Tyranitar, Dirge. Alright, we're healing up our Skeledirge. Dragon Pulse. Oh, I can't see that. Thank you for the subscribe. Skeledirge survives both. Shadow Ball comes out. Is it enough? There goes Arch. Is Arch the biggest one of our problems? I just kind of worry for Trey here because it's like Trey did so much work, but so many of his Pokemon are so low, and it's like, what happens if there's just a Scarf Basculegion in the back? Or is it Scarf? What kind of Basculegion is Kyle rocking? There's the fish! It is Scarf. And this situation's very complicated because since Basculegion outspeeds everything, and we know that there is no normal types, like, you're just kind of in a position where it's like, watch all of Trey's Pokemon just start to crumble away because Last Respects is going to blow through everything. Oh, they went for Wave Crash. Rotom does survive that. He gets crit. Ugh. Arch consuming all the resources Trey has. True. Oh, Rotom. Poor sweet baby Rotom. I think that he could have switched Sinestcha in next to Rotom here to heal it up. But because that play went the way it did, like, I don't think Rotom ever beats Basculegion now. Okay. Everyone's so low on health. Sandstorm has one more turn. Pelipper's in the back. Skeledirge switches for Sinestcha? Yes, for Sinestcha. Alright, what do we see happen here? Wave Crash, it's into Rotom. He lives on 3! Is it enough? Electro Web. The sand is going to remove Rotom from here. It doesn't matter. Oh. Fun day. Thank you for hosting, Parker. Of course. I'm glad to have you. Throat Chop into Sinestcha. Trey's so close. Sandstorm subsides. There is a chance. I think... Do you bring Tyranitar in here? Oh, this is so hard. I think you bring in... Tyranitar's gonna kill Rotom. Alright, I think you Volt Switch off of Basculegion, and you click Rock Slide. Oh, this is so hard. Of course, thank you for joining, Lazy Warlock. I'm always glad to have you. I don't know why the stream's cut out 3 times. Alright, Basculegion switches out. That makes sense. Pelipper comes in. Alright, you Volt Switch off of the Pelipper, right? Volt Switch off Pelipper. Skeledirge come in. Alright, tell me you Rock Slide. Trey might might be able to make this happen. Skeledirge come in. Trey's playing like a crazy person. Knockoff! Oh no! Not like this! You worked so hard! No! I think it's over. Because Rotom doesn't have enough health. I guess there is a Protect read at play here. But like, ugh. Okay, also would Rock Slide have even picked up? So Knockoff and does Trey even have a move that can KO? I guess Volt Switch. Would Volt Switch pick up Basculegion from here? Probably. Okay, so like, okay, here's what I think you have to do. I think that Basculegion probably clicks Aqua Jet, and you does it Aqua Jet into Tyranitar is the next question. It goes for Wave Crash into Tyranitar. Does Volt Switch pick up? Does Volt Switch pick up? It does. Oh my god, we might be going to game 3. Trey makes the Protect read of the century. Throat Chop. Adam Warlock and I are all about this exact same team. That's funny. Kyle lost. Kyle forfeits. We're going to game 3. Holy crap. This game's been insane. I'm going to give this Rain team another shot. Kyle is showing me how to really use it effectively without relying on Pelipper. Yeah, that's the thing. You want your teams to have modes, but you don't want to always have to hard commit to the modes. That is so crazy that Trey came back. Oh my gosh, I know. Both players are playing really well. Like, this is fun Pokemon to watch. It makes me so sad my friend had made a cool team and now it's everywhere. Which one? The Rain one? Oh my gosh, that was a very fun game to watch. Okay. Alright, so we saw that basically what's happening is we have a big weather war happening, and Trey is like nickel and diming this Archaludon, and the real problem Pokemon for Trey is the Basculegion. Don't be sad about that, be happy for them and their team success. No Zard Sylveon Mega Arrow. Oh, that one is huge. Yeah, I don't know. Like, when the Egg team became popular, it's like you just gotta have to like accept that the public will take what is good and exciting. Let's see. Okay, Clefable is important. No Aggron was brought last game, notably, and I also question like how effective Aggron would be. Aggron's really good if you can... Actually, is Aggron good? Like, you can't do anything to the fish with Aggron. Rotom got crit and Trace still won game 2. That was a crazy back and forth. Yeah, the Sylveon team has been really popping off, though. Warlock, Lazy Warlock. Alright, so we see Dragonite plus Basculegion. Skeledirge plus Rotom. If I was a betting man... Maybe I shouldn't be a betting man. But if I was a betting man, I was going to say... I feel like Trey is going to click Electro Web and just do, like, Protect. I don't know. Yeah, I built the Sylvezard Arrow team yesterday and won 9 games in a row with it with ease. If Trey does not protect this Skeledirge, he's crazy. Okay. But it might pay out for him. Cybertron did a video on it, Sylve, and I had to use it. Dragon Pulse, how much does this do? Just not enough to proc the berry. Because the Trey was the berry one, right? Alright, Electroweb comes out. Rotom should outspeed both of those Pokemon. I have to hazard that... Let me see. Trey's Rotom is... No, it's not Citrus Berry. It's Rindo Berry, so that didn't matter. I have to guess that Archaludon's coming into one of these spots. And I also think that Basque Legion is probably switching out. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Is Trey a psycho and does he... Oh, okay, I was going to say, is Trey a psycho and does he just do, what's it called? Torch Song into that spot. Alright, Rotom heals. Volt switches off the Archaludon. I guess we're about to see the Dirge come back in. I don't anticipate that he's going to bring T-Tar in here, but maybe not. Parker, you never remember Clef has a Citrus? I never remember Clef has a Citrus. No, I don't. Because I'm not looking at the team sheets the whole time. Oh, that's a lot of damage into your Dirge. Luckily, Trey does have the leftovers item on it, so... I guess this is the place where you could get Trick Room up. Or actually, you know what? They're probably going to bring in Pelipper and Hurricane into Ice-T, if I had to guess. I guess they could Hurricane into Skeledirge. Like, Skeledirge has been a real thorn in Trey's side. Or, sorry, in Kyle's side. Like, this is looking pretty Pelipper-centric to me. Alright, yep. Yep. Pelipper comes in, and then do you Hurricane into Sinestro and just remove it off the board? Protect. Trey's got Akaberry Sinestro. Hurricane does come in. Is it enough? It's got to be enough. It's Mega Dragonite, right? Yeah, there it goes. Okay. Mega Dragonite is at low health. Or not low health, low speed. Trey brings in Tyranitar. The Pelipper does not have Wide Guard, but it does have Tailwind. So it does also have Focus Sash. I got wrecked. It happens to the best of us. That Dragonite is at -1 speed. Let's see what's coming in. Archaludon comes in. Alright. Dragon Pulse into the Tyranitar. It does very little. But it's not about that. Alright. Rock Slide comes out. It's getting harder and harder for Trey to come back into this. Because... Okay, Will-O-Wisp comes in. I mean, that's going to be damage over time. Alright, Dragonite gets chipped. Skeledirge gets chipped. Skeledirge heals. Ugh. I question how Trey's going to deal with this Basque Legion now that the Trick Room Setter has been deleted. Mega Dragonite Weather Ball. Uh-oh. Mega Dragonite on Kyle's team only has Dragon Pulse, Hurricane, and Tailwind. Alright, Dragonite wants to remove the speed debuff. Pelipper comes back in. Good W Will-O-Wisp call. Yeah, it wasn't terrible, but at the same time... Oh, here... I bet this is Electro Shot into Rotom. Or a Sphere. Okay. That's not bad. Alright, Shadow Ball. Alright, the thing is, though, that the Pokemon that's health matters the most in this matchup is Rotom's. Because Rotom is the only Pokemon that really can deal with Basque Legion. And I think that you're now at the point where it's like, if Pelipper clicks Protect, and Rotom doesn't get out of here, like, he's going to get into range of getting KO'd from Wave Crash, which is bad. And I think that Trey knows this. Alright. Oh, here comes Water-type Weather Ball. No! By Skeledirge. It's looking less and less possible by the second. If he Aura Sphered into Rotom, okay. Rotom does take it. There goes Pelipper. This is so rough. I think if Trey clicked Protect there was more of a chance. Trey does win the Weather War, but at what cost is the real question here. Because, like, Archaludon's clicking Aura Sphere. And Basket Legion's clicking Last Respects. And how do you deal? Oh, okay, never mind. Dragonite comes in. I guess the idea is like, hey, I can just click Tailwind. Ooh. It is looking rough. Yeah, I think that the problem for Trey's team currently is like how difficult it is to remove Basket Legions. So what's stopping us from just Tailwind plus Aura Sphere next turn too? Or just Dragon Pulse. Yeah, it doesn't even have to make the call. Sand Chip will be enough to do it. And Trey's fought valiantly, but I think this game is going to Kyle. And Kyle will be your tournament winner today, it looks like. Rated with 2 viewers. Thank you, HK177. We've been streaming a Pokemon tournament. We do that every single Monday at 7:30 Eastern Time. So if you'd like to join in the future, check the Discord. I will put the link right here. Oh, I didn't see the Hydrate. Let me do that. All right, cool. Thank you. All right. I was streaming the tour. Oh yeah, of course. So, I watched one of your sets too. I just say it whenever a raid happens because sometimes people aren't in the know. All right, and Trey wins. And Alt Kyle wins that one. Trey played it really well, but ultimately Kyle took it. It was a crazy set and good games to both of our players. If we were in Gen 3, whether Trey had an out of Infinite Protects. True. All right, and on that note, that is the final game of our tournament. Yes. So I'm going to share how the standings look in just a second when I load them in. All right, so let's see. All right, I wrote Kyle won the match. We're going to go to reveal the results. All right, so here's how everything looked. Let's switch it over. All right. Kyle was your first place player. We just watched him win in the match against Trey. Then followed by Aiden, then Lazy Warlock, then A-Bomb, then Waffles, then North, then Snorkel, and then to round out our top 8 was Trey. So good games to all of our players. If you played today, I hope you had a fun time. If you watched, thank you for watching. I hope you had a great time watching as well. If you'd like to finish 5-3, let's go. If you'd like to play in the future, we always play at 7:30 on Eastern Time. On that note, we are going to send it to somebody else now, so I hope that you guys enjoyed. Oops, didn't mean to show that screen. Yeah, hopefully next time you don't miss all your moves.